As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Try the sauce. I'm soaked in it.
What?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Toxic Tuesday! It feels good to be back. This is crazy, and this is awesome. I see Zekarat315 with a Cyber Frog avatar. Howdy, y'all. How's it going? Mr. Dragon, what's up, people? Boosh McFadden, great movie. Haven't seen it forever. How you doing? D-Bud Martin, Wild Thing. That's right, man. Rabaltus, the dude Lebowski Jobu. And yeah, Jobu does need a refill. That Jobu is a very important character, man. I'll do it myself. How's it going, Rob Baltus? Deleted scenes. Nice to see you. Darius Munchausen. Hail. Hail, hail, hail. Guys, seriously, you guys came in full force right away for the stream to start. I appreciate it. I'm going to be nice and swift, and I'm going to bring in the other panelists. Bring in, of course, the man who keeps the visuals going. I guess you might as well call him the producer of Toxic Tuesday, Mr. Mark D with a C.
Hey, welcome for having me. Yep, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll take the producer title as long as you
don't mind
put too much
all.
responsibility on me. That's okay.
No,
appreciate
that's the maximum. That's the maximum.
That's the maximum. Yep. Well, right now I'm looking for the locker room scene, so we take out something that shouldn't get us in trouble, but just to be safe. So I'm looking for men in jock straps right now, just so you know. That's all a toxic.
Yeah,
too much information, toxic. Right? Yeah, but this movie's a lot of fun, and this might be the only baseball we get for a while. I hope not, but
I know,
you never
right?
Know, right? What's going on with the strike, right?
Yeah, no, it's almost like
lockout,
I thought about that when I rewatched it in the last few days. I thought, no, in a way, we might be doing our chat a service by giving them something that they might not get this year. So yeah. I'm like, this also kind of has a little extra meaning because of that, and it's fitting that you're wearing a Yankees hat. Well, the Chief is in back of you too, so this is like all across the board, perfect.
I gotta represent the Yankees, so you know.
Of course,
guys,
of course. All right, we got. Hey, there's our puppet there. How's it going, Floral? Nice to see you here. Thank you. Welcome. I saw New Bomb Turk. How you doing, New Bomb? Nice to see you. Indie Phantom. What's up, Indie Fandom? How you doing? All right, bring our boys, and we bring in one of the main moderators all over the YouTube sphere. He's not just a redshirt; he's the redshirt.
Hey there, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here. And I love this movie. I can't wait to talk about it. And Mark, all you need is a longer, droopy mustache, and you could be Charlie Sheen's nemesis from the Yankees.
Yeah, there you go. I should have got the dye beard from Peacemaker to make my beard a little bit longer and darker. Yeah. I don't got much, but yeah. That was actually a relief pitcher, which is funny.
Were you really? Oh,
Our
that's
pitcher,
fitting.
It was a pitcher, yeah, playing the slugger, yep. Which is funny, yeah.
All right, before bringing in our next guy, we gotta give our boy Thanos a good whomping to Captain Marvel. RC from the NYC. How you doing, RC? Literally a Yankees fan as well. $10. $10 says, what's up, Nick? What's up, panel? What's up, chat? Hope all are well, and I hope you are well, my friend, too. Great to chat about one of my all-time favorite comedies and baseball movies. And yes, Jobu approves. Oh, dude, Jobu totally approves. Thank you for that $10, dude. And as always, thank you for your support. All right, let's bring in the return to Toxic Tuesday. He is that 70s rock fan.
The return of the Mac. Yes. Still with the laryngitis issues, but I'm here. It's so good to be back, mate. This is fantastic. Thank you for having me back. Mark, if you could just start spitting tobacco, we could just check whether you really do look like that guy, Haywood, or whatever his name was. It's
cool. I left my chew in the other room, so I didn't get it. Yeah.
Shame, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, and did somebody mention jock straps? Because, you know.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of
we'll make sure we get a few.
We're testing our heterosexuality here.
Yep.
Or are we?
You
know, my God, look at that.
Oh, I know, right? All
What
right.
a great movie.
Oh, I know. And of course, another one of our pretty much he's a regular here as well. He's on every other channel. He gets around the best way a man can get around. Mr. Tom Connors.
I'm such a man whore.
You're a whore.
No, this is
You're
an
a
awesome
whore.
fucking movie. I love this movie. This is probably my favorite sports movie besides Rocky.
Yes,
As
right.
I showed
That's
you
that's a good
earlier.
comparison.
Not only do I have, let's see here, I got all the soundtracks, and I mean all three plus all three on Blu-ray.
Oh, let's zoom in on you, dude. Oh my god, dude.
And
nice.
Corbin Bernsen's.
Dude.
Sweet.
I wish I had a little bit more money that day because he actually had jerseys, so I could have almost got one of his jerseys signed. But yeah, it
Dude.
was a little pricey.
Dude, what you got there
Come on,
already is
man.
a
Shoulda
badge of
done it.
honor, man. And Indie Phantom, to answer
If
your
I coulda,
question
I woulda.
properly, Charlie Sheen and David Ward had said that the third movie that came out to them does not count. So make of that comment what you will. They said that the script that they're looking at, which we'll address later,
Don't really
that
matter
to them is
because
the third movie.
90% of the characters or 80% of the characters aren't even in
The third
the
movie
third
or
film. Yeah.
third movie.
Corbin
yeah,
Bernsen is the only character besides what's his face? Shit. Serrano.
If I remember
Serrano and
correct,
Corbin Bernsen are the only three that are in all three.
Dennis Haysbert. Or,
but in the second movie, Wesley Snipes refused to show up. I think he wanted too much money. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. They somebody was like, why hasn't he been in practice, or why wasn't he at spring training? It's like, oh, he started a movie career. He does his own stunts, which was a direct jab at Wesley Snipes.
Oh, we'll get to Wesley.
Oh,
Snipes.
I'm
We
sorry.
got-
Bob Euchre was also in all three. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Bob Euchre. All right. We're going to bring our last but not least gentleman.
Just
here.
a bit outside.
Dude, that's actually.
I used to have to listen to Bob Euchre all the time because at the radio station I worked on, I had to do the Brewers games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was really
This
good.
half
sister.
hour is brought to you by Miller Lite. Miller Lite, the beer of beers. Now back to the game. It's 1st and 10. Actually, no, I know that's not baseball.
All right. We got another man waiting backstage. He's eating a big yellow thing, and he's one half of the pop culture minefield, and he's Gerry the Banana.
It's
It was
Gerry
taking so
with a
long.
J.
I needed some sugar to get my energy back up.
Gerry with a J on deck.
he just had to have something in his
He's
mouth.
batting.
Good long.
What is this? 2? How can somebody be batting a 2?
You know what's funny is when Euchre got hired for this, he got hired because of the Miller Lite commercials. But then the director found out that he'd been an announcer for baseball for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the
Yeah.
Brewers.
No clue.
And they had no idea.
Yeah, he had no idea.
Dude, small time Republicans, right? This movie is so toxic that they canceled the mascot.
Yep.
This episode of 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser is sponsored by. I can't find it. To hell with it.
Who cares? No
Yeah,
one's
we're worried
listening.
about the-
No one's
we're worried about-
listening anyway.
Yeah,
We're worried
who
about
cares?
the locker room pictures. What
Nobody
about the,
gives a
And
shit.
I want to
logo?
echo
You
what
can't say
Tom
shit
said.
on the radio. Nobody's listening.
This
Yeah,
guy
well,
threw his own kid in a father-son game.
I want to echo what
Yes.
Tom said. It is one of my two favorite films, Rocky and Major League, are my 2 favorite sports films.
No, and the see that's a very honorable like top 2. I can see why, because seriously, but obvious, and both of them they make you feel like all of a sudden you want to do something badass and awesome because they give you that sense of motivation.
Well,
watching those
okay.
movies.
I mean, it goes back further than that. I mean, I played Little League, and what's every Little Leaguer's dream? I'm going to be a baseball player. And every minor leaguer who eats shit, makes nothing, rides buses, and plays to sparse stadiums on single A, double A, triple A teams. And the farther you go, the harder it is to go any further because everybody else wants to go where you want to go. This is the ultimate underdog movie. This is the movie where everybody who's a main character is an underdog.
Yeah.
And Americans root for underdogs. Okay, we know that. It's historically true. This movie, you want these guys to win, even though you're laughing at them when you first meet them. Charlie Sheen, I'm not sure I can be there by then, as he's standing in a hall in jail. You're laughing at these guys and the situations where they get the notice.
That's like last year he was pitching for the California
Penal.
Penal League. So you're already rooting for them before you even get to know them, which is cool. And then, of course, they start out and they can't. I mean, they're like the 1962 Mets. They're hapless, hopeless. They can't make a play. But the movie continues, and that's why I love this.
One guy, they like when I think it was who was that was swinging Taylor. He would keep hitting the ball up, or was that Serrano? Was it Taylor?
Like Taylor.
It was
Taylor. Bonk.
No,
20 push-ups.
Hayes, mate.
No, it was Willie Hayes. Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah,
Willie Mays Hayes.
All the time. Yeah.
And who doesn't love the voice of the manager? I don't know what this guy did to get that voice. But he comes up and goes, "With your speed, you should be beating him out on the ground. So every time you hit a ball in the air, you owe me 20 push-ups."
I love him.
I miss that actor. What a great actor he was.
He's even funnier in the second one. He's like, "I'm so sick of this shit.
Yes.
It's either a leg thing, or an arm thing, or a heart attack thing." Who used a heart attack, sir? Me.
Remember at the end when he's in the hospital and he's not supposed to be watching the game,
I love this British shit.
And then I might move there.
I love. Yeah, you may run like Hayes, but you hit like shit.
I actually like the fact that they didn't give Hayes any backstory. He just turns up in a Volkswagen with a Rolls Royce hood on it. There's no backstory about where he's come from, how he knows about spring training.
Hey,
he just rolls up his car.
Hey, wait a minute. This guy's not on the list.
I like how Willie Mays parks up right up against the baseball field, gets out of his car. And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, okay. I guess you gotta move your car." And he was just like, "Oh, okay."
That way.
and then security.
Inspiration. I want to point out. Do you guys remember what's his name, Mitch Williams, that pitched for Chicago Cubs? He got the nickname Wild Thing, and it was inspired from the movie because he loved the movie so much. And he even had him play the song Wild Thing.
Yeah, and this movie was the inspiration also for a lot of relief pitchers to have like their big like entrance thing, as they're coming onto the field. So this set a huge like, okay, hey, as well as our relief pitchers, we want to do that, coming out into the game. So I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. So it became a modern day tradition. Relief pitchers usually the closers to have their big intros when they come out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
And of course,
Tom Berenger. God, dude, Tom Berenger. He's great in this movie, and I miss Tom. I really do.
Whatever happened to him?
He's still doing shit.
Yeah. Someone to Watch Over Me. He was the star of that. That's a brilliant movie.
Ridley Scott. That's right.
Yeah, great movie. But I like the fact they chose the glamorous city of Cleveland, the city of light, the city of magic.
The mistake by the lake is sorry, Cleveland.
And you know what's even funnier is Cleveland wasn't bad enough for them. They filmed most of it in Milwaukee, which is even worse.
Well, the reason why was because the Cleveland was the Browns from the NFL. They were playing football at this time, so they had to go to a field where there wasn't anything else going on. Hence why they had all the filming going on in Milwaukee because of the football games are going on down in Cleveland.
I've actually been to a Cleveland Indians game.
Oh, have you?
About must have been about 10 years ago now. Mm-hmm, so I'm glad I went when they were still called the Indians. But
dude, I remember they're known. They had a really cool mustard that they're famous for down at their field, and it was like a really expensive bottle of mustard. And I had a buddy who was down there, and he bought me, dude, best mustard. Oh my god, I was bro.
Yeah, it was a good day out. It was a great day. I mean, Cleveland's a bit rough around the edges, but it's got some couple of nice things about it. And the baseball was good fun. Yeah.
I saw them beat the Yankees in 1997 in the playoffs, Game 5. That was a horrible. I finally made it to a playoff game, and the Yankees lose. Charlie Hayes with the error on third base. Yeah, I still remember it.
I think that's karma telling you something.
Yeah, well, Cleveland still hasn't won a World Series, right? So,
and that's
No.
kind of the whole gist as to why David Ward made this movie, because he was such a big Indians fan. He thought he could will the concept into existence by making this
a movie,
movie.
yeah.
And he knew it needed to be a comedy, because he knew that's the only way this is going to work, is he needed to make it a comedy. And obviously it worked out beautifully, because now we have this memorable story, and we have a lot of standards that have been set from this movie that have translated into real life happenings in Major League Baseball. So this movie is trend setting in so many ways. Huge. Oh, there's the Chief.
Like you mentioned before, and of course, Mariano had the best one, right? Enter Sandman from Metallica. So, but that before you didn't have, of course, the closer didn't really exist before too in the old days. But yeah, it's become part of the game now. And they were actually going to ask. They asked Charlie. It was thought of him throwing out the first pitch in 2016 and have his Wild Thing dressed up. But
he was at Game 6 and he dressed up as Vaughn. He dressed up as Ricky Vaughn.
But they said they already had someone arranged to throw out the first pitch.
I only know
he can actually pitch.
Yeah.
Well, you could see him doing it in
yeah.
slow motion there. Yeah.
Well, he took roids for this. He took roids.
Well, he
before
actually
play.
pitched in high school.
Yes, that too.
And he could throw I think 80-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah.
I may have noticed it before, but I only noticed tonight close up that his black nerdy glasses had the skull and crossbones.
Oh, you never noticed that before?
I may have, but I'd forgotten it.
They made it huge in the second one, it's huge, ungodly
right
in the second one.
It's kind of neat.
No, Charlie Sheen can actually pitch. Yes, if you've ever, I did pitch.
Can he catch too, though?
That's
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, that depends on who you ask. But the one I identify with,
You're the catcher.
the one I identify with the most though is the catcher, because I was also a catcher, and when the manager comes to him and says, "I need a leader on the field, are you 100%?" And he says, "Would I bullshit you about that?" He says, "You better if you want to make this team."
You better if you want to make this team.
Yep. But yeah, the catcher really is the spark plug. He's the leader. He's the guy who has to deal with temperamental pitchers who are like, "Oh crap, this
I was
isn't
going to say,
working."
there's some pitchers who will only work with certain catchers too.
They will, exactly. So yeah, catchers are. Most people just don't. They wear a mask, and nowadays they wear a helmet, and they got the big chest plate on, and knee guards, the shin guards, and most people they're just the guy who keeps the umpire from getting hit in the nuts. To a lot of people, I think, and they don't realize that's actually the captain of the team when they're out on the field, unless the manager steps out of the dugout and goes, "Time, I need to talk to somebody." Yeah, and Behringer played the catcher beautifully when. Like in that one game where the shortstop, I couldn't get, or third base, couldn't get to it, Corbin Burnson. And Charlie Sheen is pissed. He's like, he tanked that. He says, this is the major leagues. We're professionals. Nobody tanks a play like that. What does he do after he tells Charlie Sheen, suck it up, Buttercup, and pitch the last guy and get him out? He goes to the other player's house and tells him, if you ever tank another play like that, I will cut your balls off and shove them down your throat. And his wife is standing there with a silver tray of coffee.
Anyone want coffee?
Anyone wants tea?
Coffee, anybody?
Yeah, you're talking about Corbin Burnson, when he fucks that play up at third, Or he's shortstop, ain't he, actually? He's shortstop.
I can't remember which one.
They had him at third base sometimes.
You know what?
They switched his position around,
Well, shortstop will usually cover third base. Well, that's the thing, because back in the day on one of the MLB games, I actually made a team with every single member of the team, so I had to go and figure out who played what positions and all that shit. So I pretty much know the whole lineup between 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, dude.
And by the way, I wanted to mention I played baseball too, all the way through to college.
Oh, did you?
And I played farm league. And it's one of the reasons why my right arm is so messed up, because throwing from outfield, I usually didn't throw to cutoff. I always threw all the way to the plate. And this show had such an impact on my love of baseball. It really did.
Dude. All right, I gotta show you guys something here real quick. Our buddy and our very frequent super chatter on Toxic Tuesday, Mr. RC. This is the least I could do for him and for his awesome support. He sent me this photo that I want to show everyone. Dude.
Oh wow.
Reggie.
Do you know that somebody stole the original Jobu?
No.
Oh, I believe it.
That's bad juju.
I believe it too.
They'll be cursed
Oh,
forever.
dude.
Yeah.
So word on the streets, Drew is drunk. Oh, I'm sure he is. He probably has his shirt off by now. Hopefully he's still alive. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. But we'll keep
Nice.
the visuals going of the toxicity here.
I say
But
help me now. Fuck you, Jobu. I do it myself.
That's right, because I always connected that with Conan when he says that to
Fuck
Crom.
you, Crom. I do it
And if you
myself.
do not help me,
To hell with
to
you.
hell with you.
There's a funny picture too where I think it's coming up though when Wesley Snipes shows up. He is waving something, and it's supposed to be the signal for Charlie Sheen to come in. It wasn't supposed to be in the movie.
Oh, really?
In the movie when he waves that hat, you're wondering like, why the hell's he waving that freaking handkerchief or something? That was the scene for the
I
motorcycle.
just love his
rider.
car, you know.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I like the conversation between these guys when they're watching the Tom's character, the catcher.
Vaughn.
And I said, Vaughn, no,
Dorn,
not him.
Dorn.
No, not Dorn. No, the
Dorn's
catcher.
Corbin Burson.
Corbin Burnson.
Taylor.
That's
Tom
No,
Berenger.
Tom
Taylor.
Berenger. Tom Berenger's character Taylor. He's because of course he used to be a pro player, and then his knees went bad. He went to the Mexican League.
Yeah.
And the guy says, one of the guys, the assistant manager says, we should have had him 2 years ago. And then the one guy turns to him and says, we
Did
did.
have him 2 years ago.
And they say, all right, we should have had him 4 years ago.
Here's Willie Mays Hayes.
Yes.
As he learns the truth about it. He's like, oh, he's all happy to be there. And they're like, oh, hey, hold up. You got to move your car.
Yeah, plays like
A
Mays,
Rolls
run
Royce
like
or
Hayes.
not a Rolls Royce, some
It's a Beetle.
fancy hood.
It's a VW
Yeah.
Beetle.
You
Yeah.
could buy those for Beetles. And believe me, people who bought those and put them on Beetles were either making a joke or they were idiots.
My friend in high school did it as a joke. Yeah, so he had a Beetle he drove to high school. And then
By the way, you
he had
mentioned
that shit.
the Mexican League looked like a lot of fun when you saw Tom Berenger in it. Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Those were avocados.
Yeah.
Looked like a good life to me.
Yeah, he's
Well,
waving right there. That was supposed to be
I
the
see.
signal.
Oh, there's our guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy who was by winning and being a wild thing before he actually was in 2011 when he's like, duh, winning.
Yeah.
I win there, you win there. Are you by? No, I'm by winning.
Look at this fucking guy.
You look at the dude. Apparently, he got a lot of shit for it when he was out and about, like while filming this movie. He would get a lot of shit from it from random strangers off
Over the
street.
hair, probably.
Yeah, with his hair.
I would have complimented him, like, dude, you're the Sheen machine, man. You got the do. Come on.
How
you're
popular
Sheen
was he
machine.
back when this came? I'm trying to remember.
I don't
was he
know.
just
This is
starting,
pretty
or-
much in his height. This was after Platoon and some
Oh,
of that
after
other
Platoon.
stuff.
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
Like
He
this
was
is
huge.
this is pretty much his biggest movie.
You think so? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Hot
think
Shots
so.
Part 2.
Nah, those did okay, but I don't think they did
Yeah.
nearly as well as
No, I'm
this.
joking. Yeah. Yeah.
He's
But that would have been a
wilding.
little bit after this, though. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the
All right.
director, David S. Ward, not only worked on this, before this, he worked on Canary Row. He directed King Ralph, The Program, Major League 2, and Down Periscope.
Mhm.
And he also wrote The Sting,
Wow.
The Milagro Beanfield War, Sleepless
Good
in
film.
Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he seems to have disappeared quite a bit. I mean, what has he done recently?
Yeah, he's kind of tapered off. He's writing still. He wrote I'll Find You and a short called Lucifer and Flyboys, which I believe was the George Lucas film, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Man. I
Or no, that wasn't the
swear.
George Lucas one. That's the one with James Franco. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be his
Taylor,
last major movie he wrote.
Taylor looks like a mixture of Dan Marino and David Hasselhoff had a baby, and they made
Tom
Taylor.
Berenger.
Yeah, Tom Berenger. So
Yeah.
Well, have a cookie.
And Cosmic Fusion for $10 says, so how much money do I need to send you before I get to be on the panel? LMAO. Just messing with you, brother. I've used that link if I had done any research for tonight's selection. I will send you a message for next week's flick. How about that? Shoot me a message on Twitter, and we'll be in touch. All right, Cosmic? I'd be glad to have you back on, man. And thank you for the $10. I appreciate it.
This would also be a reunion with Chuck and Tom from Platoon as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
oh
that's
yeah,
right, yeah.
Serrano. Once
Yeah.
he discovers that from the golf bus.
President
Bat warmer.
President
Keep
Palmer.
that
There.
warm.
President
Hot.
Palmer.
Hot for bats.
Perfect timing.
It's funny that this guy sells us Allstate now, but
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
I know.
He's on that one cop show too now too.
You're
You
welcome.
know,
He's
Wesley
good actor,
Snipes here. He's what was he, about 5'9"? He kind of looked like a really little guy in this film.
He is kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and yet when you see him in obviously in Blade or Demolition Man, he
I think he's
seems a
only
lot
like 5'9".
beefier. You know, like Blade, he doesn't look like a little guy in Blade, but here he
Oh my
looked.
god, yeah.
He's a lot
Snipes
skinnier-
is
skinnier.
Yeah,
Snipes is-
skinnier.
Well, he needed to be because
He bulked up
being
after
a-
this movie though too. You guys got to remember he probably gained 30,
He must
40
have,
pounds.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But
He's a good
it
mover in
suited
this one,
him.
though. He's
Yeah,
got the
it
foot
suited
moves.
him because even though in real life they say he actually runs like complete shit, but for the character he's portraying, I know, right? The irony.
Shit,
Oh, I love
they already
this when
cut
he's-
me.
Yeah, I love that line.
Exactly.
Yeah, shit, I've been cut already.
Dude, I left so I did. Then you see him running and he's beating them.
Yeah, and I love the fact they sent in the team's security guards who patrolled the spring training camp, and the four guys come in quietly, and it looks to me it almost looked like a scene from Full Metal Jacket. And one guy with a flashlight decides, okay, this is the guy that came without an invitation, and they pick up the top bunk and they carry him outside, and he doesn't wake up.
I know. I mean, that's the one really unreal bit. He didn't
Yes.
wake up through any of that.
Actually,
Come
you'd
on.
be surprised. My dad said they used to do that to guys in the military all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but not to wake up. It's broad daylight.
You don't get much sleep, right? So yeah, every
You're
second
quiet
rest, yeah.
enough. You're careful enough. Yeah.
But they said Snipes is not a baseball player too, so there's no shots of him ever throwing the ball. So
Yeah.
he throws doesn't have much of an arm. So and
He
he's
can
not, you
slide,
know, as for all the karate that he does, it's
See,
guess
he was just good at playing Willie Mays Hayes. He had the name, he had the character and the charisma, and he had that being that tiny guy who's like he looks like he can run fast, steal the bases, you know. So when he makes a base hit and he needs to, you know, catch second or third, he's the perfect character for it. So that was great casting as far as his character believability is concerned.
well, he reminds if you're an old time Yankee fan, it reminds me of Mickey Rivers, who was a center fielder for the Yankees in the '70s. So Mick the Quick was, you know, and he couldn't really hit; he just slapped the ball around and run fast. It was a good
It's funny
fielder.
you bring
so
up
that's
the Yankees too, because Behringer reminded me a lot of Thurman Munson, the catcher for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and the catcher's always that it just ends up being the leader on the field, either the third baseman or the catcher, or sometimes the first baseman. Because the first and third, you know, older players end up, you know, heading
first
to, you know,
base
first
sometimes, yeah.
base. Yeah,
And every catcher I've ever known ended up with shitty fucking knees as they grew old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're crouching for fucking 8 hours at a time.
up and down. Yeah,
Yeah, my career as a catcher ended when I got the shitty fucking knees growing up.
Oh,
I'm sure that could happen too. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, in my case, it was growth, but and I grew out of it, thank God. But yeah, I quit all sports for all of high school because of my knees.
Wow.
So
I mean, you guys brought up the fact that these are the underdogs in the beginning, which is kind of true. But the reason they're underdogs is because they're put together that way.
yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were. Because they were
Purposefully
supposed
done.
to be underdogs. They were supposed to be
Well, not that
team
they're supposed to
blew it all.
fail. Yeah,
they're supposed to be
They're
losers.
supposed to stay in last place because she wanted to sell the team and move it to another state. Which, interestingly enough, that reminds me of when I was a kid. I learned about the White Sox. They were almost going to move originally to where the Florida Marlins were playing. That was the big talk in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
And then they instead decided to make a new Comiskey Park, which they opened in 1991. But the talk at the time was that they were going to move down to Florida. So there probably would have never been a 2005 World Series White Sox had they had, you know, moved to Florida. Who we'll never know.
But at one point, the GM, Charlie, or whatever, says, you can't just move a team. That doesn't happen. Well, it happens all the time. Franchises move
right.
all the time.
All the time.
Yes, but they all have different deals. Different deals with it, and I love that line. He throws a 90+ mile an hour fastball between the guys at head level, and all the manager does is turn and go, "Nice heat," or "Nice velocity." I mean, neither of them flinch.
Yeah.
It's
Must have seen
incredible.
the balls
Sanity,
fly at them in their day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can so tell this is County State. I've been there enough times. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
it's,
and you know-
one of the signs are up there. You
I'm
see
not even sure
Milwaukee
they would
signs
have
up there.
Miller signs at the. It might be on because that's on the other side of the Mississippi, ain't it?
Oh God, I was gonna say I think there's signs for the Brewers, even in if you pay attention
Oh,
during
I'm sure.
when they're
Yeah.
if I
So
recall, I thought I saw a mitt, which is the logo of the Brewers. I
Yeah,
swear
it was
I
up
thought I
there,
saw
yeah.
a
Was
red
then,
mitt.
yeah.
So
So they
even
changed
these
it.
scenes were filmed in Milwaukee. Even
Most
the-
of the stuff
yeah.
was anything that was on the diamond was.
Mm.
Like a lot of the games where they even pretend they're not even there. They're
Yeah.
there.
Mm.
They just redress it
Right.
because they filmed a lot of shit. Like at the same time, like most of the game stuff, I think they filmed with a lot of the same guys that just had them redress in different uniforms and
Yeah.
shit. Because a lot of these guys that are also in the movie are like the secondary guys from the Brewers and stuff too, is from what I remember. And like the one guy who plays like the big badass guy, I think he's actually a baseball player himself too. I can't remember his name.
It was a
but yeah.
pitcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was the spring training. It says was shot at High Corbett Field in Tucson, Arizona. And
Okay, so this is
University of-
Tucson?
and University of Arizona Wildcats baseball teams were used as extras. So I
Okay.
guess that was, but just so it's I don't know if they I'm looking at a picture of it. Yeah, it's spring training home of the Colorado's and Indians of Major League Baseball. Currently home of University of Arizona. Yep. So that's it. Yep. But yeah, they used a lot of extras, and of course they couldn't use real
Well,
real
they
players. Yeah.
Well, it's cool that they got as many people to be in the stadium for especially for late in the movie for a lot of the actual games. Because I know Serrano said they actually felt like there was baseball magic going on, even though they were just shooting a movie for it. And Serrano was actually making straight up like home run type of hits. So some of the hits were legitimate. So that was like, oh, that's cool if they did. Obviously, you see him early on. He struggles when they do a change up on him from the pitch, because originally they give him a fastball and then they changed it up, and also you're like, oh, hold up, so that's why he wasn't in the big leagues, because they're wondering why he seems like he seems strong at first, and all the infamous pink slip.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've read enough memoirs and biographies of baseball players to know that one thing you have to deal with when you make it to the major leagues, unless you're a pitcher in the National League and you don't really have to bat, is you got to figure out how to hit a curveball, because you don't see it in high school or college because it would destroy pitchers' arms and elbows. And in the minors, the guys are all now learning aren't the same as a major league curveball. You show up for the first time, from what I've read, and you face a curveball, you just you have no idea how to hit it. Right. And it's the one, if you ever go to a batting practice and make the mistake of challenging a professional pitcher to throw you something you can't hit at all, you'll get nothing but curveballs, and you won't hit any of them. It's the most ridiculous pitch to try and figure out by the time it gets to the plate. And I've heard it many times. Never seen one, thank God. I sucked at batting enough without it.
Well, it's pretty, you go to the batting cages and you think you're hot stuff, and you say, let me put this on like 70, 75, and you're like, can't hit it.
Well,
it's just such a skill.
We missed Eddie Harris's. It's Chelsea. Is it Ross? Chelsea Ross, I think, plays it. Where he's showing Charlie Sheen like all the things he has to do because he's an old pitcher. He's like, you'll have to someday too.
Vagisil
rubs a lot of stuff in his balls. Yeah.
And there's
now, I'm going to tell you, I've gotten contact in playing ball with curveballs, but I've never gotten a single base hit off of them. Hit a lot of foul balls.
What about knuckleball?
I've
Is
never
that a
had
hard
a
one to
knuckleball.
deal with?
I've never had
it is. A knuckleball. I played volleyball in college, and a knuckleball is the same sort of thing as what's called a floater serve in
Well,
volleyball.
it doesn't spin.
I love
doesn't
so-
It doesn't spin,
There's a
and
really good
therefore
yeah.
it wobbles in the air. It's almost. I mean, it's worse than a wiffle ball, and it's one thing if you're trying to bump a volleyball to somebody else on the court. That's bad enough. Trying to hit it with a baseball bat. Holy cow!
Did you see that really good documentary about the knuckleball a few years ago?
I didn't see it. No,
Oh, it was really good.
I did.
Because there's not many guys can do it now, and
no.
there was a couple of guys in it. There was the history of it and some of the best pitchers that could do it. It's about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
It's a
but
documentary about knuckleball.
I did read
I've
Gaylord.
thrown, but I've never had one pitched at me.
I tried to pitch it because I couldn't throw a curveball in Little League, but I tried to learn to throw a knuckleball, but I could barely reach the plate with it, so that was a no-go. But I did read Gaylord Perry's book, Me and the Spitter, and he was accused throughout his career of throwing spitballs, which in his book he admitted, yeah, he did. And a spitball is nothing more than an easy knuckleball to throw. It has little or no spin on it. And he said by the end of his career, all he needed to do to throw a spitball was dry off his thumb on his uniform, grab the ball, and throw it. And his index and middle fingers, because of the sweat on them, would slip off the ball, and he'd throw a spitball. And he was never thrown out of a game that I know of. And he pitched until he was like 40 years old.
I saw him pitch a few times.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
he didn't
hey.
need a fastball. He didn't need a fastball because when he got in trouble, he didn't throw a curve or a slider. He threw a spitball, and it just went wherever the hell it wanted to. And catchers hate it. By the way, I know
Catch is the worst. Yeah.
the Red Sox, I think it was Tim Wakefield. Now, they have terrible winning records compared to a lot of other pitchers. I think he averaged lifetime around 500. But the only people who hate knuckleballs worse than batters are catchers.
All right.
Because-
I want to add. Oh, go ahead, Reg.
They just want to keep a catcher just wants to keep the damn thing in
love this
front of them.
This part's
He's
great.
got the tiny little snake, and he's got the big.
Yeah, little mini.
He's got a garter snake.
All right.
I was looking for this in the trivia, but I'm not finding it yet. But I could have swear I heard a story where Serrano's based on an actual player, and I can't remember who it was. Yeah, like he would do all this weird voodoo shit, and like
Well, we know sports players are all pretty superstitious in
very
many ways. So
superstitious, yes.
yeah.
You know,
Yep, especially
Phantom
baseball players,
Outsider.
They've got the rituals.
Phantom Outsider mentioned this guy about George Steinbrenner actually had a Jesus test when Lou Piniella joined the Yankees. He had long hair, beard. That reminds me of when Johnny Damon joined them because he had won the World Series with the Red Sox, the Yankees' rivals, and he goes to the Yankees after he wins the World Series, and he gets rid of it all. Man, he was very iconic for having that beard and long hair image. And Johnny Damon was the guy. Well, I think if I remember, the Red Sox beat the Yankees in the ALCS in
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Don't remind me of that, Nick. Oh my God! Oh Jesus God, that was the worst. Oh my God! I had friends who were at the game. Like the last game the Yankees won, it was like 17-1, and they're in the stand. Team in the stands. I was like, normally you're an a-hole when you're your team. I felt bad. I'm like, guys, you'll get us next year, whatever. I was being nice because it was like 17-1, and then they came back and won 4 in a row. But Damon was actually a great part of the Yankees, and great hitter. I mean, hey, money talks and the beard walks, right? I mean,
as did the hair man. He lived by the Yankees code, man. He lived by the Yankees code, and I guess it makes the clean shaven all American boy image type of thing. It makes sense why the Yankees had that as their standard. I get it.
Mattingly got in trouble in the 80s for that. He's winning MVP titles, and the boss was trying to tell him to cut his hair. It's like everyone's like, just let him have the hair as long as he wants, as long as it keeps hitting like this. Who cares? But the Yankees, they don't. You can have I think Louis Tion had the goatee, or they'll let you get away with certain stuff, but yeah, they're more clean cut, which is crazy because if you read about the Yankees in the 70s and 80s when the boss was there, they were just it was the Bronx Zoo. It was just a total chaos. So this movie's so cool because I'm sure it's taking little bits and pieces of stories from everywhere and just throwing it in here. So they said major leaguers are, really love this. Actually, my cousin is dating a guy on the was in the minor leagues right now. A guy who grew up near me, so I got to ask him if he's he's a youngin. I got to see he must have seen major leagues. So hopefully he's going to make the majors this year. If they actually play, but he's a pitcher. I got to check with him and see if he's watched this. Yeah. But this character is just so hysterical.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Serrano
here. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Well, actually, a few of the characters are based on real people. So Serrano is, according to the writer David S. Ward and director, is partially based on Orlando Cepeda. That's the one I was talking about who did the voodoo stuff. And then Wade Boggs, who would superstitiously eat chicken before every game.
Yes. Yep.
And then Willie Mays Hayes, according to Ward, is based on Ricky Henderson. Ryan Duran is the inspiration for Ricky Vaughn. And Eddie Harris appears to be inspired by Gaylord Perry, who is well known for using outside substances to enhance his pictures.
I told you.
Jake Taylor may be inspired by Charlton Fisk, a catcher who had
Carlton Fisk. Because I remember he was on the White Sox and the Red Sox.
And the Boston
he made the Hall of Fame for the Red Sox. My dad was livid about that. He was livid that Carlton was on the Hall of Fame for the Red Sox. He's like, hey, should have been the White Sox because he won with the La Russa days with the winning ugly jerseys back in 83.
Yeah.
Here's a good one, too. In a lot of the scenes, Harry Doyle is seen bearing a Miller Lite cup. That's because they were the ones from the Brewers games. That's why.
Yeah. And this is where we learn that Ricky Vaughn can actually throw.
Yes. It's not that he can't throw. It's that he can't see.
Yeah, and that's where he's like, hold up. And like you see, hey, that was a hell of a throw there. Like, obviously, the Sheen Machine used some steroids for this movie, and also Mr. RC here with his great contribution as always. Ricky Vaughn also took a little from Al Hrabowski, aka the Mad Hungarian. Ooh.
Yeah, great play in the '70s. Yep.
Yeah.
Picture, yep. But so I used to, we all played little. I'm guessing we all played Little League here. And I wouldn't want to wear my glasses as a kid. So as I got older, my eyes keep getting worse. So I was going out for the Babe Ruth League, and it was semi decent. It was all right, but I always had trouble hitting. And then I finally got glasses, and I'm like, I'm not, you didn't have contacts back then. I'm like, I'm not wearing my glasses like Charlie Sheen. I needed the cool glasses like that. And I went on the coach put me out in the outfield, and the balls were like hitting me in the head. He's like, "What's the matter?"
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know.
You mentioned that.
I wore my glasses, I would have been. I probably would have made the team.
I never played outfield, and I've always wondered whether my utter inability to hit except by sheer dumb luck, to hit a baseball was due to the fact that I know I'm nearsighted, but I never wore glasses playing baseball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, we were both stupid, right? We should have, we could have been in the major leagues if we just put our glasses on.
You still could, Mark. You still could. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Dude,
never too late.
This scene is made for Mad Morgan. There's all these men in their underwears and jock straps. God, Mad, where are you?
Mad's watching at home right now, naked in front of the laptop.
With Handy Randy in one hand. Yeah.
With Crisco and...
Vagisil.
Cleveland, the glamour of Cleveland.
He probably picked up some pointers from Harris.
Looks like Rachel Phelps is also loosely based on a real person.
I think the Twins manager,
Georgia Frontier, who was the owner of the St. Louis Rams after her husband passed away in 1979.
Yeah.
She moved the team to St. Louis. She moved the Rams.
From Los Angeles.
These guys suck. Who are these guys? These are a bunch of nobodies here. I love this because you can see their trajectory start to slowly change over the movie. They went from, they're still kind of not good, or
no.
They're making advances.
No, they didn't change until the very end. It was they're shitty. They're shitty. They're still shitty. Right. And then they're jumping up and down, cheering for them. I mean, they're
a little less shitty.
Construction workers changed their stance.
They did.
They altered it, but
they did.
The groundskeepers at the field did not.
No, the groundskeepers of the field did not. They were utterly unimpressed until pretty much the end of the movie when they were actually in contention for the pennant.
This is County Stadium. There's the Miller Lite sign. Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, we
God.
used to sit way up in the nosebleeds up there.
I must say though, Tom, I love Miller Park. I'm just saying that's a beautiful field, and that's only about
This is County
Howard
Stadium.
and-
Yeah.
I know it's different, but it's just I love that field. Like when I used to go shows at the Eagles Ballroom.
I've never
passing
been
by
to the
Miller
actual
Park.
Miller Park. Yeah.
Oh,
My dad has been a few times.
Dude, that's a great field.
See, my dad used to coach girls softball, so that's where
Mhm.
I grew up around that shit. Like my dad, from the time I was born, from before I was born till shit, I think he coached it way up and through till I was like 13, 14 years old. And then he would also do the local softball announcements. So sometimes I would help him with that shit. So I knew how to do like little score things on the checkerboard things and all that stuff. Whatever you call it, I don't remember anymore.
Oh, scorecard.
The,
Scorecard.
Yeah,
Scorecards,
scorecards.
yeah.
Yeah,
One of
scorecards.
the-
I actually forgot that for a second, but how did I forget that? I used to go like 100 games.
Yeah, you get to buy the program for $2, and
And when,
God, now they're
do
like
the
$10.
Now they're like $20. Yeah, but
Then when my
and
dad
that was
would
what
give
the
me-
awesome thing about baseball back in the day was. It was a cheap family game, right? So you could sit in the bleachers for like $4, or you go to a game like you could do like in the 70s or 80s, like $100 all in, like a family of four. Depending on what you did.
well,
one of
I
the
like-
cool-
You
I
gotta
like
have
the
a
AAA.
dog.
I've
You
been to a
gotta
lot
have
of
a
AAA.
dog.
Yeah,
AAA
but
is
the
good
tickets
stuff.
were tickets. You could get tickets for like $8 to $20. Like the $20 tickets were good tickets. And what was really fun was one of my buddies in high school. His dad was friends with Steinbrenner, so we got a job over the summer, and his job was to take anyone rich or famous or an actor to around the field. He was like the PR guy, as a young guy, in college, and he got to sit through a game with like Bill. Bill Murray was one of his most fun games. He was, he was like the guy in the luxury box, like, anything, they needed, or so he got to meet Richard Nixon, you name it, whoever was there. But he said Bill Murray was awesome. But they said people would send stuff all the time for the players to sign, but he would just take it home and give me stuff because the players wouldn't sign anything. They would just throw it out, or like Mattingly rookie cards or whatever. They just, and they just, so whatever was left, just grab stuff. But what the story, I can't tell some of the stories. I could tell you later, but I got stories about some of the players.
Oh, I-
We missed a good line there when they're looking over the balcony and they see her and he goes, "Who's that guy she's with?" And they go, "Well, he's not wearing a name tag. How do we know?"
Well, this is actually one of Rene Russo's first movies. This is her big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where my crush began.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Oh my God. She's hot. Oof.
This is where I learned to shave my head with a big knife as well.
I fucking love Serrano. I
got a
adore
look, he's
this
got-
character.
Yeah,
Who's
he's
the
awesome.
I wonder who the baseball cards were they had up there. I wonder who they were in the locker room. Let's
I
see.
read to
Can you tell?
scour eBay for a Serrano baseball card.
I wonder who the players here are in the.
That would have been
Yeah,
cool. That would have been cool if Topps would have done like a baseball card set for the whole team.
Oh, they
Like,
did.
Did they?
Yeah,
did.
They did. They
Oh
did.
fuck! I gotta
Later-
find
years
these on
later.
eBay.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, like 20 for the 20th or 25th.
Because I got the
anniversary.
Funko Pops. There's very little merchandise that surrounds this movie. Because one of the main problems is they won't let them use the fucking icon for shit anymore as far as the Cleveland Indians.
Right.
So like on the Funko Pops, like the actual icon for the Indian is replaced with the baseball from the poster.
Mm-hmm.
This.
They got so it was a recent pop, so it's Chief
Yeah.
Wahoo is gone. Yep.
Yeah, they just have that the little baseball with the
Right,
mohawk
mohawk.
instead.
Yes. I see.
So-
Well, they're going to call them the Guardians now, so I guess, and that was the Guardian. I guess before the bridge, everyone's making fun of the new name, but I guess there's the Guardians on this bridge on the way to Cleveland. These statues, but
They should have just called themselves the Wild Things and used that fucking logo.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was not
Exactly.
minding that. That's a missed
Yeah.
opportunity.
Cleveland Wild Things.
That would have been awesome.
Dude, I would have been down for the Cleveland. I would
I
have
bet you
gone to
Paramount and Morgan
Ohio.
Creek wouldn't have had a problem with that. Actually, I think Morgan Creek just owns it now. So
yeah, and I could have, I never imagined, like, I know we're again.
Oh,
to
there's
the
your
politics here,
answer.
but that the the name the Indians would be considered offensive was made 30 years ago. I mean, it's
Now
one
that
thing
guy
maybe the
right there
logo,
that you
but-
just had on screen, He was best known for playing the friend that ends up being the traitor, or the friend that gets killed in action movies in the 80s.
Chelsea or which one?
That dude right there.
Oh, that
Chelsea
guy. Yeah.
Ross. Oh, he's awesome. He was
Great
also
character actor.
He's a great character actor. Yeah, I think he recently. Let me see if he's still alive.
Hopefully, he still is. No, because he's great.
He's a great actor. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
man,
is.
you want to talk about how, like, as they're going on, like Rachel Phelps just is like, I need to make these guys lose even harder.
yeah,
The
he's still alive.
We still
the
have
more she freaking like wants to tear them down. Here's Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
that's right, yeah.
The big bottle of Jack Daniels.
And it's putting it behind these ears thing. I guess that was something that he got from his grandpa or some shit like that. But yeah,
One in the afternoon. At least that's when White Sox teams start on Sunday afternoon. I hear it's at 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. and already on the Jack Daniels.
ball one, ball two,
All
Look at
right,
Bob
play.
Oh, here's that
All
clip coming
8.
up.
ball
Let's
five.
play.
Doesn't Die Hard Night sound like a good night?
Listen to that crowd, and then like there's no noise at all.
No noise at all. And then later in the movie, he does the same thing, but then he and the color announcer just start yelling
Yeah.
and cheering
Yeah,
to fake it.
That's why, like, when he swears, like, hey, you can't swear. He's like, no one's listening anyway.
yeah. Who gives a shit? Nobody's listening anyway.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
He gets really
you
fucking drunk in that one scene.
Yes. Yes.
And you see this team absolutely suck. When you watch them play, they are a joke. They are a mess. They can't catch a ball. They can barely run. They're just, this is the epitome of a sloppy team, right? You're thinking in your head, how did these guys even pass for the minors? Like, none of it adds up.
Well, there's two different plays in one of the first two games they play where all three outfielders converge on a fly ball, and one of them pulls up because oh shit, and the other two run into each other, fall down, and the ball drops between them. The Mets actually did that in 1962. That is why Jimmy what's his name? Jimmy Brennan?
I won't hear a word against the Mets.
What's that?
I won't hear a word bad.
Oh
word
no, I've
against
been a
the
Mets fan. I've been a Mets fan for decades. So I'm just going to say that in 1962, the book "Can't Anybody Here Play This Game" I've read. It cracked me up. They as an expansion team, they were almost as hapless as this team at the beginning of the season. But they were in real life.
He tried the corner and missed.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah. But you know, the irony is the Mets, that first year, they weren't in Shea Stadium. It hadn't been built yet. They were in the Polo Grounds where the Giants played. Yep. And they set attendance records for expansion teams. So her whole idea of having the team be so bad that the attendance would drop, New Yorkers went to watch the Mets to see how badly they were going to screw up today. It was comedy on a baseball diamond.
It's funny about that because the plot works, but did you guys know there's an alternate ending for this movie?
Yes,
with involving Rachel Phelps' character.
Makes her look like the good girl, not the bad.
That would have been the 2021 subvert your expectations, and it was a man all along above me who'd made me act this way type of thing. They would blame down. There would have been a man above her, and she was
Mad
like,
got them to change that ending back to the original.
Yeah, it's actually on the DVD and Blu-ray, the special edition.
Oh, you've seen
yes.
it?
Yeah. And she basically says she did it on purpose to get the best out of them.
Well, I also heard apparently when they did a test screening, apparently her character arc, people were already invested, I guess, hating her character, which is good. That means she's a well-written villain. And people, they're like, hey, no, don't change this about the movie. Like, why would you just start now, like, feeling for her now? It just really changes everything about the movie. Like,
well, the best part is like, yeah, Charles Cypher gets his little moment to shine there with her when she's all pissy and shit. Yeah.
Oh, and then he doesn't care anymore. He's like,
I want to toss in there that if you didn't know that or this, Ted
Here's
Lasso
the part you're talking about. Yeah.
on Apple TV is a semi-remake in TV.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
series
I haven't
form
watched that yet.
of
That's
Major
right here.
League.
It's awesome.
Here's the good.
But they took that as the premise.
Here's the Ricky Vaughn introduction. who is a juvenile delinquent in the off season.
Yes. Yes.
Last year he played for the California Penal League.
Yes.
When I
North
do that
Dallas
announcer
40.
voice, that's who I'm
It's
doing
so-
is Bob
it's
Uecker.
so-
Bob
Just so you
Uecker.
know.
Oh, I
Yeah,
figured.
yeah.
It's
With
so
such
good.
witty lines, it's packed full
Yeah.
of them.
Euchre makes this movie, and the hysterical thing too is the color
Just
guy
a,
doesn't-
just a bit outside.
Tried the corner and missed.
but the color guy doesn't say anything. It's all like
No.
the end of the movie.
Hey,
he says
hey,
he's
they
like-
don't call
He's
him
in the
they,
second one too.
they don't call him the best color man in the league for nothing.
That's the best thing. I think that's the second one where he gets so fucking drunk he passes out, and then he has to take over, and he's like, "Strike one."
It's his thing. Yeah, so I mean, Euchre is like doing color and calling at the same time,
Yeah.
and he's just so good at it too. I mean,
Yeah, because the kid doesn't say shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Just
the
a
director
reminder, fans.
I didn't they didn't know. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Yep.
No, go on. I was gonna say, come up is our Die Hard night here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won the pennant.
Yeah. the only announcer I've ever heard, and it wasn't in baseball, it was in football, that I've ever heard that was as entertaining to listen to, but sometimes more entertaining than the game, was John Madden.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
John Madden.
I hold Bob Uecker and John Madden as two of the greatest sports announcers I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, yeah.
And
then you
Summerall
just
was so
basically-
great with Madden too, because he was because
Well, I
it was
grew
a
up
great
with Harry
combination. You'd
Carey.
want to watch the game. I didn't care what the game was. If
All
Summerall
right.
and Madden were doing it, I'm watching that game. Right?
That's
Yes.
true. No, Gary,
Yeah,
I do
Harry
like me
Carey's a
some Harry Carey.
classic, too.
I used to eat at the Harry Carey restaurant when I go to shows because it was right by the Harry Carey restaurant. And man, 0-1, 0-2.
I went to so many games, and Bill Murray would end up in the booth so often during
Who gives a
games.
shit? It's gone.
Oh, Bill Murray. Bill fucking
Yeah, Bill.
Murray.
Yeah, my friend had some stories. Yeah,
Oh,
And
my
I'll tell you
God,
off air the
always
story
great.
about the players. Yeah, but he said that was just so much fun, and we got tickets every night, and we got to sit if we wanted to go. The players section was behind home plate, so we got to sit with all the wives, and this is a horrible joke, but you guys have heard this before. But they're like, "Oh, he met that wife before he became famous."
Dude, and one guy, Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson, anyone? Keith Jackson?
Keith Jackson's awesome. Yep.
All right, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, legend. Yeah, he
This
did
gets
a lot of. Did he call a lot of Bama games too? Or
Why don't you
I'm
blow
thinking-
me?
Why'd you blow me up? Oh man, I love
And
this
Vin
team.
Scully is probably, but you got to mention Vin Scully too, who just retired a few years ago. Probably one of the greatest.
I love the
broadcasters
shit
of all
talking
time.
that Taylor does all the time too.
Dude, Taylor's a great lead. I mean, between him and Sheen, like Taylor, obviously he gets the complete character arc because like he gets like the girl
Because of
who's
the
like
trajectory
already
of the ball. Yeah, like that. Who gives a shit? It's gone.
so toast off for the Erie Warriors. Oh my
I
At
guess
least he
that-
threw a strike.
You didn't catch the breaking of the ball, but I guess that wasn't meant to happen either. I guess Charlie did that on accident. Or not accident, but
Oh.
like he did it in the scene and it wasn't meant he wasn't meant to.
Oh, I did
It
not
looked
know
good though.
that.
It worked. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked
Yeah.
perfectly.
It did
And,
work.
oh, this shot here of Rene Russo. I mean,
And look
there's
at-
not
he's
many
just up,
librarians like that.
And Taylor's just like,
And
oh,
there's a
show
rotary
me some
phone,
more.
guys.
Oh my god!
For those
A
kids
rotary-
watching, that's a rotary phone.
Corbin
That's a
Bernsen's-
rotary payphone, kids.
Corbin
You had to
Bernsen-
put
Bernsen's got
coins
mobile.
in it to make it work.
It
We'll
did
just-
have
we'll pause
Google
there for a
attached
little
Yeah,
bit.
there
to
was
it.
no speed dialing.
No.
Yeah.
Goddamn, look at
It was
that.
all the same speed dialing, slow.
Where's 24/7 to be like, blow that shit up? I want to go to that library. and
There's
take
only
out some
one
books.
mobile phone in the whole movie, and Corbin Bernsen's got it.
Yes.
Well,
I
Did
have
you
never
guys-
seen a librarian that's as hot as her. Fuck that.
No.
Did you guys catch her license
I
plate
dated
when
a
she
librarian.
drives in the movie?
Rene Russo's quite hot too.
Yeah, she's driving a
isn't she a
Volkswagen
librarian?
Cabriolet.
She works
means-
for the library, doesn't she?
That was a joke about the other woman.
I know, I was gonna say, but yeah, like she's one of the librarians there or whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good.
What were you saying about her driving, Nick?
Yeah, yeah.
Her license plate said drive. I mean, no, sorry, I said read. When you
Read.
look at her card, just
Read?
said read because READ, yeah, because she worked at the library, so they had to be on the nose with it. They had to really sell you on her being a librarian. You know, she had previously had a relationship with Taylor, and they were both athletes. Swimming, if I recall,
Swimming, yep.
yeah, swimming.
Yeah, she was a swimmer.
Yeah. Sorry, Courtney's asking what year this movie was. I think it was 1989.
1989.
Yeah, 89.
Yep.
And you know what? I can actually see the Michelle Pfeiffer, Selena Kyle, Batman, and Renee Russo.
Well, she was up for the part. She was one of them.
Oh, was she? I did not know
I
that.
believe so. I believe so.
Wow. Did not know that.
Other than this Lethal Weapon, my other favorite one with her was the what was the Chili Palmer movie with Travolta? Get Shorty.
I liked her in Tin Cup.
Oh, that's right. She was in that.
I
Great
love
film.
Tin Cup.
Yes, she
Tin
was
Cup
awesome
is
in
great
Tin
fucking
Cup.
film.
I know golf is not a sport; it's a game, but I do put that in one of my.
That
favorite
fucking
sports
movie
films.
is great. I don't.
Oh, that
It's, it's actually a pastime. It's not even a game.
Yeah.
Just a pastime.
Hey, if
Coming
esports
from a
is supposed to be
Scotsman,
a
I'm
sport,
just really shocked
that.
by that.
I'm the only Scotsman who doesn't play golf.
All I'll say about Tin
have
Cup
played.
is it's the only thing I've ever seen on TV that made golf even remotely interesting.
Yeah.
You know
And
what's
thanks
funny
to
about
Renee
Charles
Russo, right?
Cyphers is I've watched Halloween and this movie pretty much, as long as I can remember throughout my life.
Mhm.
Never put one and two together. That
Oh,
was
you did
Charles
connect the
Cypher
two.
from
That's the
fucking
same guy.
Halloween until like one of the last times I watched this movie. Because I had not seen him older since Halloween 1 and 2 until what the hell? There's something else that came out in between there. Isn't he? He's in something here in recent years, or some other movie I see when he was a little older and closer to this age, and I'm like, then it just kind of clicked. He was in some John Carpenter movie, and it was just like it clicked to me, and it was like I think I was watching one of John's later films, but yeah,
I just want to
gotta
do a
mention
shout
that-
out. I just want to do a shout out to that plane. That was a DC-3.
DC-3, awesome.
That is from the 1930s.
Hey, can we give a
47.
shout out to our plane? If you looked at who's reading the Hustler magazine, the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's what I wanted to
Christian.
mention.
Yeah, it's the
that's
Christian.
religious.
Yep.
are you trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
He's researching Satan.
Well, that's what he says here. He's like, because then his character does the sign of the cross.
Yes,
He's like,
Ronald's-
oh, sure, now
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
come
Now
around.
you come around.
He's not fooled, and he's reading Hustler.
By the way,
Yeah, right.
just to go back to golf, it was Mark Twain that said golf was a good walk spoiled. And I think Mark Twain was right.
Yes.
But the DC-3 is actually one of the greatest planes of all time, and probably one of the safest planes of all time. And they used
Well,
it actually in the Vietnam War as a
comes
gunship.
It comes from the World War II. It was a C-47 before it became commercial as a DC-3, and they could lose 45% of the wing and still fly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
plane,
another
yeah.
great line from Euchre there. Ricky Vaughn set a record in the American League for throwing 4 wild pitches in 1 inning. Congratulations, Rick.
And then he makes fun of his hair. Like that's the only comeback he can make fun of the guys there.
Well, the one kid only gets a photo. The kid gets an autograph from him just because he looks funny, and it's just like they don't even care about like the team. Like, oh god, they see them being terrified of their plane.
Corbin Burnson with the
Yeah, everybody thinks
Right.
they're gonna die.
I love Burnson in these.
I'll tell you what though, they really do sell because that looks like a piece of junk, and you're thinking, oh my god, that
You
plane's gonna
can't say
fall in the
goddamn
air.
on the air.
Yeah, read this one, Tom. Yeah. The next one. is
Out
a
of hell
great
with it.
line.
Nobody's listening anyway. I think
Right,
that's the
there we
line.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Nobody's listening anyway.
And here's the plane putting duct. What is this? The A-team? Oh, this is
The guys.
There's the
the
phone.
mechanic.
There's the phone.
Oh, because the line before that was one of his other great lanes. He's got one. We got one goddamned hit.
Hey, see, you learn about a lot of stuff with comic books, right? Classics Illustrated.
That's right.
Yeah.
That plane
I
was a
love
gold
that.
mine.
Putting duct tape on the propeller blade.
That ain't happening, guys. Yeah.
No, it ain't happening. But that's just so classic, though.
Dude, look how young
You know,
Wesley Snipes was.
As we used to say in the Air Force, that's good enough for government business.
Oh, there's her license plate that says Reed.
Yeah, Ray.
And then she parks in front of the driveway here. If you notice, she blocks the driveway. She didn't go up far enough.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
now, if Mad were here, Mad, I got to do this for Mad.
Called it out. Yeah, do it.
I got to do this for Mad. Typical female driver.
And then what's going on when he goes up to the apartment? He just goes right in. There's no dorm in there. He just
No door,
he's able to
just-
take the
No.
elevator right up
It's
to-
a penthouse. Well, no, the first place where he walks into the.
Yeah, but how does
Is
it get
this-
into? How does it get in? Like when
Well,
for
They didn't
Yeah.
lock the elevator door. Normally,
hold
for a
on.
pen. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
See-
how does it get in there?
They
Mark-
don't have a key. Normally, there's a
No, he
key for the
does.
penthouse
He does.
on an elevator.
He does, because when he comes back later on at that one scene when the place is cleared out, there's a
No, but-
there's a
No.
certain thing in his
That's
right
a
This
hand.
is her
place.
fiance's
That's a different
penthouse.
Not her
Oh,
house.
this one.
But,
then yeah.
but
Sorry.
Nick's got a
I
good
missed-
point, because when he goes to Rennie Russo's place twice, he walks in the door without
Yeah,
Yes.
knocking or
and I said,
unlocking it. Or
yeah, and I said when I
Stalker.
watched it, and he walks in the second time, and it's been cleared out because she's moved. I said, I don't know a landlord that ever left an apartment
open,
unlocked after
especially
it
in
was.
Cleveland.
Yeah. No. So the idea that he could just stroll into her apartment is absurd, but that it just went right. They just glided right over that.
Yeah,
There's
this one
one
too.
thing. It could be that that's their old apartment. He might still have a key.
I was
think
gonna
that's
say,
what
I-
Nick was trying
No.
to say.
I thought, yeah,
No,
Tom,
no,
that's
because he
exactly
says-
what it was. I thought he
No.
had a key in his hand.
Well, no, because he says to her when he walks up the stairs the first time in her apartment, he says, "Where are we now?"
Yeah.
And she
that's
says,
right.
"My
Yeah, yeah,
place."
yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yep.
Ah, you're right,
Yeah.
red shirt. Yep. Oh, I
just
love how
saved a bit of
awkward the
time.
scene is.
Yeah.
I
But
love
then
how
this
awkward
girl
the
wants
scene
to
is.
this girl wants to jump the catcher, and
Yeah.
and then he's got this great comeback
She
about.
wants to
Her
catch-
husband's a catcher by the looks of it.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah.
I was planning on having kids with an Olympic swimmer, right?
And he's like,
And
me
what did you
too.
do? Oh, weren't you a swimmer? You know, that line's coming up. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It
That could
was.
mean Rennie Russo's got a large penis, though, these days.
Touche.
Yeah, pretty awkward.
I was
awkward scene.
horrible
Yeah,
as a
like-
And
swimmer as a man, but now as a
and-
woman, I'm the world's greatest swimmer.
And I got to say, the guy lives in a penthouse apartment, but he pours him half a beer. What a cheapskate!
Yeah, right. Well, way to be so hospitable with your guests, man. Give him a full beer. Just
Exactly.
hook him up. Hook a brother up, man. Like,
Isn't
if
he
you
a
guys
lawyer?
came over to my place, I would say, all right, guys, I'm going to give you the most giganticest glass each for your own gigantic thing of beer each. I would make sure you guys couldn't even walk getting out of this place. And that's what I want. This guy is like a cheapskate. Just, here's your little bitty bit of beer.
Oh, that's the
Do, do,
Olympic
do.
champion line right there.
Go back if you want.
Yeah, I'll go back. Yeah.
In what
He
event?
said that you wanted to move to Hawaii and raise a couple of Olympics champions. Yeah.
Yeah, 200 meter. What was it? Combined.
Women, yeah. I am.
It was. It was like a couple. It was like
Individual
several
athlete,
different
so
things.
Yeah.
That's the backstroke, breaststroke.
Yeah.
It's all the different strokes
Right.
combined.
200 meter medley. That's it.
medley. Yep. So it's 4 strokes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's freestyle.
It was on screen, by the way, red shirt, but yeah.
Oh, it
The
was.
child
Yeah,
cups
while
for
you
the
were
biggest
struggling to figure it
glasses.
out. Yeah.
Andy Randy.
You're assuming
Right there.
Tom. You're assuming I can read.
Ah, we figured out your secret. I never learned to read.
That's what
That's why I
audiobooks are
didn't
for.
get into the major league.
That's why I have to memorize everything.
I need
See, if you
glasses.
just wore your glasses, if you just
Like
wore your
Ricky
glasses,
Vaughn.
red shirt.
Exactly. You knew what I was going with that, Mark D.
Yep.
Wear my glasses. Yeah.
Where are my glasses?
And this is a great line here.
Oh, I love this scene.
Stay away
Suck
from her.
Suck
my
my
dick.
dick.
It's just the way he says it is so perfect.
Yep.
This is where
I
he
love
figures
it.
out he can't fucking see.
Yeah.
Because he's just about
And-
to cut him, and then, yeah.
Well, because
And by the way, that earned the movie a full point on the toxicity scale right there.
Oh, right. That's a man who's just like, bro, shut the fuck up. I'll say.
Well,
and
he
do
came
what I
in and he
please."
just showed it, he just showed up her boyfriend, right?
Right.
I love these first glasses.
As a kid, I
I
wonder,
had a
like,
pair
people would
just
tell me,
like 'em.
like, Mark, I saw you over the weekend. You didn't say hi or wave to me. I couldn't fucking see you. Then when I finally got my, if someone was across the street or something, it's like, I had no idea.
You know
and then when I
what,
got my
though?
glasses, like, God, the world looks a lot different.
I know, right? I had the same thing in third grade. Oh yeah, up yours, Joe Boo.
Oh, I love how dude. I love how karma gets back at him for doing
Yes.
this.
Yes. And you heard the eerie music, right? The like
Yup.
drums and stuff.
Yup.
They're like,
tribal
something's
music.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
tribal
tribal
music.
It is very bad to drink Joe Boo's rum. Very
right.
bad.
Where's Dadman with his icon? That kind of looks like
Yeah.
Dadman there.
But yeah, the original Joe Boo disappeared.
Oh man.
Oh, Joe.
And then he
Boo.
becomes an adherent to Jobu right after in the end when he's warming up in the bullpen, the final game. He's
He's got Jobu standing next to him.
next to him. Yeah. Heads up, watch it.
Yeah, that's where Eddie gets it.
Clonk.
Yeah.
Totally not a stuntman at all.
Yeah, no way.
It isn't. Look at him.
I know.
And then,
He had to take that fall.
dude, he did. He's pissed. He's like, fuck.
But if I was Ricky Vaughn, I'd use the fact that I had glasses to my advantage. I'd try finding the wildest glasses I could to distract the batters.
Yeah.
I love that shot of Euchre with the umbrella in his.
Yeah, it
face.
was cute. The kid they called Wild Thing.
That Sheen was great in this movie. Yeah,
Oh my god, Sheen
Yeah, he
was
was.
great.
Yeah.
Oh
He was.
man,
Yeah,
this role was like he was definitely, this is a character he was definitely born into, and I'm so glad he reprised it. Not obviously for the sequel, but when the World Series hit at Game 6 and he actually went to the field, like seriously, what a missed opportunity for the Indians not to rename their team the Wild Things. Like they could have had Charlie Sheen be there. He could have promoted it, even though he is always historically a Cincinnati Reds fan. He would have done it if the money is right. He would have totally promoted the Wild Things. He would have.
Absolutely.
Or for Tiger Blood, he would have done it.
Oh,
I remember-
dude. No, that could be the drink. That could be like their beer, the Tiger Blood beer at the Cleveland Wild Things Inn, the official beer, Tiger.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, it's possible that they may have had a rights issue. Maybe some other team in the world's called that. Maybe,
Not
maybe
that
they
I
couldn't-
know of, at least not in the MLB.
I don't know. Well,
The
not the
Guardians.
MLB, but
What a boring name for a team. It's like the Guardians, right?
Because there's a lot of crossover names between the MLB and the NFL and shit like that.
Oh
and
yeah.
when I went to Cleveland to an Indians game, they didn't play the song. I mean, the song they play there a lot is "Hang On, Sloopy,"
yeah.
which is their song. That's that team's song.
I was just thinking because they forced them to change the icon and the name. I was just like, to kind of keep a lineage, But no, of course they wouldn't be smart enough to do that.
No,
And
you're making
allegedly,
too much sense.
This team was named after an Indian who played for the team. So, which is, even makes it worse.
It's
too, but-
ironic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I worked for Dale Dye, who was, did Platoon with Oliver Stone, and we were in a meeting one day, and I joked, because they were talking about going back in time and killing Hitler, and I said, I've always said if I could go back in time, I'd kill Charlie Sheen right after he made this movie, so he couldn't ruin Navy SEALs.
Jesus Christ! Ooh, Navy SEALs.
Oh,
Julia,
man.
Dale laughed, but Julia actually had a spit take. She spit soda out of her mouth.
But we would never have got hot shots then,
That's part two.
We missed another great Euchre line there where he's like, Ricky Vaughn's had a great game today. Don't worry, he'll blow it.
The other thing's funny when the other pitcher, the Gaylord Perry pitcher, is pitching. He's like, "And there's a KY ball."
Oh,
Ground
dude.
ball up the
Yes.
second.
Dude, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Oh
Yep.
my god!
That's the way
I
he tanked the
love
ball,
this
yeah.
scene. Where he's like, "Oh, hey, what's good? You could help win the game. You could have helped. You've been a big help." And he's, "Oh, it's my last season, doopy doopy doo." And Taylor just starts to unleash hell on him.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got all kinds of reasons and Taylor's not buying any of them.
Nope. It's my next season. I got all these plans.
Well, for the old guys, this is their last shot, and for the new guys, it might be their only shot.
Right, I was gonna say you got basically the two older guys on the team, right? These are the two main veterans besides Eddie Harris,
Right?
So like, and these two guys are kind of the end of the spectrum. You've got, Dorn, who's made a bunch of great deals, and he's got the money and he's ready to retire, and you got Taylor, who's never really made it anywhere. So this is his last shot. So yeah.
These are meant to be the leaders. That's what's
Exactly,
Taylor.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a great scene. Knowing the guy's gonna.
And if you haven't noticed, and judging by the attendance, you haven't.
He's got the best lines in this movie.
He does. He makes this movie. He pulls the scenes together. He stitches this movie together, just like an announcer would stitch a ball game together and make it all make sense to you, even if you weren't watching it on television, if you were listening on the radio. But yeah, he
Could
is
be a lot worse.
Yeah.
See
these
that guy
guys
there?
ain't so bad.
See that guy there?
Yeah.
He was in
Oh, yeah,
Scrubs.
fucking bad.
Yeah, it's the guy from Scrubs. Yeah.
That's the guy from Scrubs,
and
Neil
here's
Henry.
And these
They
guys
still
are out there still
shitty.
shitty.
they're still shitty.
That's right, they're still shitty.
Hey,
And they took
Okay.
his movie career, by the way, and used it in Scrubs because they're watching the movie The Fugitive, because he's a cop in that.
That's
And,
awesome.
And it's, the doctors are Dorian and all them. They're like, "Wait a minute, you're the same guy." It's fucking great.
That's
I
fun.
love-
Scrubs was a good show. Yeah,
it
it's a funny
was.
show.
God.
And she's good as the owner too. I mean, you love to
Oh yeah,
hate her.
she's a
so
great
She is.
bitch. Yeah.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
hot and she's conniving.
She's more
and-
toxic than the men. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
But this is the scene. This it's just standing there.
Yeah, well, they don't
He's
care in
standing
the
there
locker room,
full
right? Yep.
Speedo, like,
Yep.
look at that. Man, where's Man? This
Where's
is
Man? Yep.
everything he needs. You got one guy with the ass. You got one
Matt's
guy.
reaching the peak right now. He's
I
just
missed
reaching
that
it
one.
right
Yep,
now.
we'll go fast. Yeah.
Seriously, like this is like men at their peak, and then one having a hot tub Twitch style. Like,
Look
could
at
be-
this. How safe is this? Put her
That's
Not
got to
very.
be dangerous
With
with
the
the
motor.
fucking outboard
I'll
motor.
tell you what, I misinterpret
Holy shit.
how far I got down in the blender. I don't want to misinterpret how far my
Oh.
foot is from that fucking propeller.
I know,
Holy shit!
yeah.
Or if it flips up, I was like they probably did that with like air or something as a special effect. But it's like, holy shit! It's like I'm not getting in there.
You never know.
Yeah, well, I hope he got paid a
Small
lot for
Time
that scene.
Republic. Yes, the guy. He was in the unit, but was in the Navy SEAls too. The movie. The guy that played Serrano.
Dennis
Serrano's been in a
Haysbert.
ton of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That obviously isn't his real voice. Like I said, he sells you Allstate now.
That's right.
It's because he was
And he was-
President Palmer.
In
And he wasn't
24, yeah, he was
bald in
great
real
in
life
24.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can trust him.
Yep. Good actor. Yeah, 24 was
Oh,
awesome.
here's
show.
where the frisk starts to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
she's
love.
back.
What's better than the friskiness is what happens before it, because he's like, I need a car, and the car he arrives in it's hilarious. And
the
you never
bullpen
see
car.
him bring it. You
Bullpen car,
never
yeah.
see him bring it back. You never see. So it's
And she doesn't lock her car too. Just she just gets out of
Oh,
the
yeah,
car.
the
closes
Well,
windows
that's
the
what
door.
my wife
Yeah,
says.
the
She's
windows
never
Typical
locked her
movie
car.
shit though. Before we had the
Yeah.
doot doot. Yeah, they never lock their car. Nobody ever says hello. Nobody ever says goodbye.
Yeah.
Let's face
There
it,
it
no one's
is.
going to steal that car. No one's
No
going
one
to
will
steal
steal the bullpen
yeah.
car.
No
right?
one's gonna steal the Cleveland Indians bullpen car that has no windows, no door.
It's a fucking
Is it
golf
electric
cart.
or is it gas?
I don't
He
know. It's
just
a golf
walks
cart.
into
So it's
her
probably
place.
electric.
And now I was gonna say that was back in the days we could just hotwire it too, because that's
Yeah,
how you had
that's
to
how
just
the
take the
key-
two matching color wires and just rig them together, and then voila, the engine was revving. Nowadays,
Did you
it's all
follow me
complicated.
again?
Yeah, how
What
does
a
he get
toxic
in?
male.
He
He
breaks
just
in.
walks in. Yeah. God.
Let's see. No, let's see his hand. Let's see if he had a key in his hand. Maybe like
No.
No, he just.
Yes, she's
walks
moving in with me. You said she's moving in with Tom.
Yeah.
Finally, Renee fucking Russo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, he was a toxic male, I guess, right? He was cheating all the time on her. So I don't know
Well,
why. That's pretty stupid. I mean, she's but yep,
Because
he
she
admitted
wanted
he
to
screwed
focus
it
on
up.
Moby's dick.
She's obsessed with Moby Dick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all about Moby and the dick. So she had her attention on Ahab and all those other creatures, and then the frisk happens.
Now, did he get this info from the Classics Illustrated Moby Dick, or
Yeah.
did he actually read the
Yes.
book?
No,
he
from
read
the
the
No,
comic.
he Classic Illustrated.
Got it
Just
from
the comic.
the comic.
See, who said comics that can't make you smart, right? And we got this. Look, he's distracted. You know, and
Cliff
he actually,
notes with
he gets,
pictures.
and he actually gets the question right. I mean, so under pressure, he's able to pull it off. Yeah, we were always good at this. Yeah. So,
He
well
got
done,
lucky
well
in more ways than one.
Oh, and he wasn't the first one to get lucky too. This is just the beginning, because we have our wild thing has he gets a bit of a wild thing as well, and that one gets spicy.
And that's another woman who's despicable besides the team owner, her, because her reaction to seeing her husband go off camera with a young woman in the lobby of the hotel isn't to confront him. It's to have an affair with a guy she knows he already doesn't like.
Well, yeah, that's called revenge.
Absolutely a grudge.
It's revenge.
It's how a woman thinks, Mark.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or, I'm sorry, it was Redshirt who said that. My bad.
That's all right. No, but I approve.
Yeah,
Yep.
but Mark was thinking.
I'm fucking stoned. Don't worry about it.
I'm at bat here, right? Yeah, I just hit
I
the
mean,
home run.
that may be revenge on her husband, but you know, this kid who has no idea who she was is already in. You know, his ass is in a crack to the point where the catcher tells him, "Hey, I suggest you get dressed and get out to the bullpen before he hits the
The bigger
locker
question
room."
is here: how would Mad react to that?
Yeah, how would he? Yeah, what would Matt do?
What would Mad do? WWMD. That sounds like weapons of mass destruction.
Mad would be
Actually, yeah,
disgusted.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
I don't either.
Mad would be disgusted at the way she callously used that naive young man.
He would not be a fan of them having the bowl where they take off the pieces of the dress. He would have been very against that. But like, no, why is that here?
Put them back
Why?
on. He would want them to be put back on.
Yeah, he wouldn't like that.
No, it would have had to have been like a board of like Tom Cruise and Top Gun volleyball style. Like, hey, take off all the pieces, so like get him in his like shredded abs and boxers.
But I do want to point out, because everybody tells me that setup and payoff are important. They do a setup for this. When the general manager comes to the manager's office, and you know eventually that he's just told him why the team was put together the way it was. He tells the guy, you know, I'm really starting to think we could win this thing. It just takes something to pull it all together. Well, here's the payoff. Something to pull it all together.
You guys think.
Every time you win a game, we'll take off a piece.
And they had 32 pieces to go from this point on.
Yep.
That's fitting. It would be
Feel
32.
a section.
Yep.
Yes, weapons of mad destruction. That is all done by design.
Because that's part of the joke. Is she used to be a Vegas showgirl, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's probably how they got the photo. Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, here's our boys.
Well,
here.
she is cute.
That's
so,
why
yeah.
this movie's so great, because as well as the great comedy and it's got drama, but it's got that classic sports thing of the underdogs finally get their act together, start acting like a team, something to rail against, and come out on top. It's perfect.
The
written
underdogs that weren't supposed to be, because remember,
Yeah.
they weren't meant to be like underestimate his. They were meant to be fail. Like they weren't
Meant
supposed to have
lose.
a chance at
Well,
at life.
and it's not
They
like
just-
this is the first movie to ever do this, though.
No,
but
but
it
they've
just
done
it
it well.
clicked so well, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all in the execution and the casting and the story, the way it all was put together. And again, I don't think it would have worked as well with that original ending. I like the way it ends now. It's so satisfying this way.
You lose the villain
yeah.
with the
Absolutely.
alternate ending.
Yes.
And you need
You
the
need
villain.
the villain, yeah.
And you need a villain, yeah.
Yep. Even if it's a woman.
Yeah, even and that's the thing. If it came out
Especially if it's
in
a woman.
2022, they would have liked to have subverted our expectations and blame it on a man. Saying, "Oh, he made me act that way to make you guys a better team." Because I remember like watching that like and thinking about them like, yeah, that would have totally been the 2022 if this movie was like remade or if it had never been made and they somehow made a movie based off this. That would have seriously been the ending. Like I
Well,
would.
it totally makes sense with her character. She's a Vegas showgirl, so she obviously married this old dude with money who owned this baseball team, right?
Mhm.
She first thing she's going to want to do after her old man dies is leave town, get the fuck out of Cleveland.
He
'Cause
didn't survive the honeymoon. Right?
But then she's stuck there because she's anchored down by this team, so she has a great motivation for wanting to sell the team or move the team.
Right.
And
Yeah, the weather sucks there, no attendance. She in the beginning she says that. Yeah, it's like let's move to Florida, right?
And
You
she
gotta
wants to
wonder-
make it worse for them with a crappier bus, a crappier plane, no hot shower, no hot water. Like she's trying to make them like suffer.
And this is so in character for American Express commercials in the day.
Yep.
You know, because I remember when Jim Henson did one. Jim Henson did an American Express commercial. So there he is with his shaggy hair and his long beard in a living room full of furniture. And he goes, "Do you know me? I invented the Muppets." And up pop about a half a dozen or more Muppets. And they go, "So what?" And then he proceeds to extol the virtues of the American Express card, and then you see the American Express card, and they type his name on it, Jim Henson. This is exactly what they were. Nobody knows us.
Oh, it's a Billy May Hayes there. Too,
Don't steal home without it.
Don't steal home without it. Yes,
Yeah.
and
The
that's
best
a
spoof.
wonderful. That's a wonderful spoof of it. Yes,
But the best
was
spoof
so good.
of an American Express advert was done by Rowan Atkinson and Pamela Stevenson on the British comedy show called Not the 9 O'Clock News. So he walks into the store and buys this expensive thing, and she's the sales lady, and he gets the he goes, "American Express, would that be okay?" And she goes, "Yes, sir, that would be great. And would you like to rub my tits as well?" And she takes her top off. It's just brilliant.
No.
Anyway, sidebar.
Anyway, on that segue, yeah. But it used to be a
Sidebar.
big deal to get a credit card for you youngins out there, like in the 70s or 80s. It's like you
Oh,
had
shit,
Diners Club, but to get a credit card was like a real big deal. So like The Sure Thing, one of my favorite all-time
Oh, yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Love that movie. So like they're stuck out somewhere, and she's like, with John Cusack, they're in the rain. They have no cell phone, of course, no middle of nowhere to go. And she's like, I found a credit card. I have a credit card. But my dad said I could only use it in case of an emergency. And Cusack is like, well, maybe one will come up. It's like,
Yeah,
the rain's
that's a
coming
great
down.
That's a good one. Didn't Rob Reiner direct that one?
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
he
Rob
did,
Reiner.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I got to do a review of that movie if anyone
good
wants
movie,
to
yeah.
join me for that. It's not a Toxic Tuesday movie, but that's one of my
Well,
all-time
it could almost.
favorite.
I'll do it with you, buddy.
I say it could almost fall in the because the whole movie's about a guy going to get laid because she's a sure
That's
thing.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
All right, see, you helped me out there.
pretty
Thank
That's
you,
what I
Tom. Yeah.
because like when Sex Drive came out, that's what I kept telling everybody. I'm like, I already saw this movie. It was called The Sure Thing with John Cusack.
It's an all-time great. So it's I watched with my son and some of his friends, and they couldn't stop laughing. They're like, and that movie's not getting made today. So
Ooh, we got a little
But,
flash of half nip there. Did you see that?
no, I think it was. I checked. I zoomed in. It was okay.
Oh, okay.
Because that's just the pasty. I checked.
Oh,
It's the pasty.
Oh, that's right. She has pasties.
She has pasties on. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to lose my producer job here. This is a great scene. Yeah, score 2 in a row. Yeah, safe. Yeah. So now we're gonna have robot up soon if we do ever get the MLB back.
I heard
Yeah.
about that.
Oh God, they've been talking about stuff like that in variations dating back to like even 15 years ago. Because I remember like, oh, we should have just the we should have the digital stuff replace the ump. I'm like, I don't like that idea. Like that takes the human element out of the game by doing that.
Yeah.
It's already enough that they've replaced everything with digital as far as like scoreboards and that stuff. I like for the game, and maybe that's the traditional baseball fan in me speaking, but I just like it when everything's as manual as possible.
I'm not against taking a lot of them off the field and having them, judge it by video from different angles, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That would
different.
make a little bit more sense, and then you just have the call come down from above, whichever way, and you could have it in a little earpiece, and the guy on the field just make the call, and that would also speed up a lot of times when they have like the question and going back to replays and stuff like that. Even though, do they even do that in baseball yet?
Well, they do
I know they
replays now.
talked
Yeah,
about it,
Yeah,
but
and that's
no, they
fine.
do have it. They
It
have
should be
coaches
disputed.
challenges, but certain
Okay,
things you
yeah.
can't. But not balls and strikes. So, but it does. For a while, it was making the game go so long.
that's what I
so-
was wondering, because I know they talked about it, and then
Yeah.
they took it away, and I was all kind of
So, like in NFL, what they do, they have someone watching in New York, I guess, and they just watching all the games, and they call down too. Sometimes, it's like it's so obvious. Sometimes it's like just get the right call. But balls and strikes, it's really changes the
Right.
complexion of the game. If
well, no, and I wouldn't do that. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you'd have a guy up there who
but
actually
they want to do
has-
that now. They
Yeah,
want
but
to do
I mean,
balls
I
and
would rather
strikes,
not
yeah.
have the. Oh God, no! Please. That's
Oh,
where you
yeah,
just
they-
have a guy who is upstairs with like 3 different views, and then with those
Yeah.
3 different views, even if you get him in the right position with a grid, he can even see, and you can have a computer give you where the ball came through, so he can just tell you, strike, 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 ball, strike.
Well, they already have
ball,
the tech,
you
and
know,
they used it in the minor leagues. But some the us, I'm saying the old fogies hate it, and the younger kids, I think, maybe generalizing, more open to it. But ESPN, if you watch the games, they got that they got the
Yeah.
grid on with the computer, and they're calling balls and strikes, so you can see. And the umps are pretty damn good, I have to say, too. for the
Usually
most
they are,
part.
from what I've
But
seen.
when they screw up, they really screw up. So
That's the thing.
That's
I
the
mean,
problem.
that's a good debate. I mean, I'm not against the idea for balls and strikes for a computer to just kind of be able to, because you can get enough sensors up there to where it'll be 100% accurate.
yeah, which is
Right.
Yeah, RC is saying, he hates seeing the pitch counts on the screen. Yeah, there's too much stuff on the screen now.
I do agree with that. Yeah,
it's too
there's
busy.
much.
It's too busy. All
Yeah.
right. We gotta give our our evil villain a punch in the face.
I like turtles.
Deleted seeds for $1.99 says, "Hail Nick, panel, mods, and chat. Major League is the bad news bears for adults.
Pretty
More proof
much.
that movies were better 30 years ago." And bro, that was a great comment. Thank you for that. And thank you for the $1.99. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's a great comparison. Bad news bears. So appreciate that. And what's up, Commenting is
Well, that's
dangerous.
kind of what I
I
was saying.
see you
It's
there.
nothing new. Like we said, it's all been done before, but it's just the execution of
Yeah,
it.
and that's fine. Not everything needs to reinvent the wheel. You just gotta give a great, coherent story with great, likable characters, and it doesn't have to be this like art piece of philosophical dialogue. Just make the characters likable and characters you can root for and be invested in. You have a great team of these players who all have these wild personalities, and you're hooked on them. Some will obviously, all of us were hooked on certain characters and more, but everyone has a character they can latch onto. And then when you take them out of the game, it really alters the mood. Like you take obviously Surround, you lose his magic, you take out Taylor, you take out freaking Wild Thing here, Vaughn. Like obviously you take out Doyle as well, the announcer. Like there's so many valuable aspects to this movie. Obviously, even Rene Russo's character, like you take him out, it affects the movie, and that's how it should be, not just 800 characters just to say, look, we're all in the movie.
But again,
She was good in this too. Yeah.
Also, unlike so many of the writers today, these people who wrote this movie, whether they were baseball fans or not, how much they knew or not, we were all talking about how Tom told us how many of these characters are based to some degree on real baseball characters.
It actually only has one sole writer, David S. Word, who was also the director of the first. He did the second one as well.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
But the point is that what they did was these have to be believable characters. They're based on real life people. They just exaggerated them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? They took the superstition of eating chicken before every game and turned it into a temple to voodoo. They took Gaylord Perry's ability to throw a spitball without being detected, turned it into 3 different patches of grease on the guy's body. I mean, so they're based on real people. So they have, oh God, I didn't realize I was leading up to this. They have verisimilitude. Oh God.
There you go.
Yeah,
I used the word.
Yeah,
use
Iron
it.
Pete loves that word. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Stop and think about this. If you take the comedy away from it, it's a straightforward story. It's
Yes.
a very good story.
The comedy is huge.
The
in this.
comedy comes from how
I love
they
this.
interact with one another. The things they say.
We can't
and
be
do.
having him sacrificing a chicken, and the guys will all be puking.
Right.
But Gary's got a good point. It's all
Well,
it's
an
a
old
lot
chicken,
of
like
inside
you said.
jokes, but between friends. But we see these inside jokes, and they work, and they're awesome. So when you
Well,
hear,
it's a good
when-
representation of the
yeah.
locker room as well.
Yeah, because when you have
Yeah.
people telling with you go to a camp and like one group did like a skit of like all inside jokes and no one got the damn inside jokes and no one was laughing except them. But we know Serrano's character with the chicken and then when he's at that final scene with Jobo and then he's I'm very angry at you, and he's yelling at him.
Stand up for you. I believe in you. Help me now. I say, fuck you, Joe Boo. I do it myself.
And that was his character arc development in the movie. He went from relying on Jobu to I don't need no man equivalent. So he had risen above Jobu and realized I can do this.
Well, what's funny is I think in the second one, doesn't he discover Buddha or some shit? So like he's got Buddha and Jobu because they're in.
This is great. Yeah.
There's Jobu.
Helping him pitch.
Yeah, I love this bit here. Yeah,
It's brilliant. Shows them coming together as a team, though. They've all accepted each other.
Yes. Oh.
And you know what? He has perfect form for his pitching. I like that they got a lot of actors that actually know how to play ball.
Yeah,
Yes,
no. Well, Serrano's
absolutely.
actually hitting home runs, as I mentioned earlier. Like, so obviously you want to sell people like it was an actual game, and he said that when they managed to pack 20,000 plus in the venue to be extras, like they were going nuts, like there was an actual game. So it made you feel like he was actually playing a baseball game, and the crowd feels like it's an actual game too.
Nick, there was so many people from Wisconsin and Illinois in these extra bits that we probably vicariously know somebody. I know at least two people. who are
Probably.
Yeah, and Serrano, the actor, Hastert said he was overwhelmed at one point, and one of the guys, the catcher, I guess is Steve Yeager, or one of the MLB people on the film. He's like, well, that's how it was every night, playing for 20,000 cheering people. I mean, and they said he was kind of overwhelmed by the crowd and that everyone who doesn't want to be a rock star or an athlete or something, be on that big stage and have everyone cheer for you. I mean, it's an amazing thing, even though these are just extras. But just imagine going out in a field like that. And people are going wild for you. It's got to be pretty awesome. So,
Well, I've never been in a movie, but I have been on stage in front of about 500 people, and I can tell you that movie actors they play to a camera, and when they're done, a director goes cut, and that's it.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
even if,
so for a movie actor to have an audience. If that movie actor's never been on stage, never done anything like that, that's
even on
going to be
stage-
something totally new for them.
even on stage, they maybe only had 500 people or
Right.
200 people, not
One
20,000.
other way.
Yeah.
One other way of knowing when they're in County Stadium is the WTMJ sign. That was the other thing I remembered because that's the Milwaukee NBC.
Yep. They were saying that too. Yep. So yeah, but it's a lot of. They'd really captured the essence of this team. You really believe in him, like they were saying before.
Well, they said the reason is because at this time this was one of the still few of the older parks that were left, and it was similar to the Cleveland Park.
Yeah, it wasn't fancy. It was just a straight up park. Yeah, because I think it was the White Sox had the choice of getting one of the new fields. Or they had the choice. What was the first
Marlins? The White Sox were supposed to go to the Florida Marlins.
Yeah,
field.
but there was what was the field that was really cool? Was it the what was the team that they had? That Jacobs Field was like the super cool new ballpark.
Jacobs Field. Isn't that in Arizona? Jacobs Field.
I'm trying to remember, but they had a choice of like this wild, great new design. I'll Google it, and then but the White Sox went with like a generic, boring '70s field. For their park, and then I think it was Baltimore. Maybe it was Baltimore has that really cool old fashioned ballpark.
Camden Yards. That's Camden Yards. Oh, I've been to Camden Yards, dude. I've been.
But the designer offered that park to Chicago, the White Sox, and they turned it down.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because they said it was too radical, or
too radical.
But that's what Fenway has so much. I'm a Yankees fan, but Fenway and the old Yankee State, these parks have like a charm to them because they're so old and falling apart. They're they're characters in themselves. So
they are characters. It's hood cred, man. They got hood credibility to them. That's
so Jacobs Field is the Cleveland Indians stadium.
Oh, okay,
it's now known as Progressive Park.
There's the Miller Lite sign there.
Oh no, Camden Yards is great, and the street is off of his Cal Ripken Way too, which is cool because obviously for obvious reasons. So I'm like, look at that, we're on Cal Ripken Street. So I love when they do that, where they like name like roads after like the players or something like that. It's always cool to see. Yeah, for Sox part, it's on 35th Street, and that's the one thing that they kept when they made a new field. They still kept it on 35th Street. It was just basically directly across the street from where the old field was. But now we have a Goose Island Brewery attached to us, so that's kind of cool. And White Sox fans love beer. Oh, yes.
Sorry,
go
third
ahead.
baseman. He's the third base, I guess, in this game. I thought it was a shortstop.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, I said shortstop. You were right the first time.
Well, I think they moved him around.
I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I think Willie is the shortstop.
Willie's the shortstop. Okay.
No. He's left field. Who the fuck is the shortstop?
Who's on third?
Who's on third?
Oh, stop it.
What's on second?
Gordon's on third.
Come on, you laid it up.
Gordon's on third.
It was just there, teed up. I mean, I had to
It was the second movie where they had the other shortstop, I believe. So that's where I see. Like I had to combine both movies to have a full team because like half this team is just like no names. They're literally like listed as like player.
Yeah.
Well, I remember in the scene where Behringer is chopping ground balls at Corbin Burnson. He's at third base because you could see the base to his right, and he's surrounded by baseballs he's been trying to block. and it would make sense if he didn't want to get hit with a baseball that he'd be playing third base, aka the hot corner, because for a right-handed batter, if they're going to rip a dangerously fast hit straight at you, you're going to be standing at third base.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and the shortstop actually is supposed to cover second and third. That I remember from my dad's coach.
They are.
Depending upon what's going on. Yes. Which is why Phil Rizzuto was known as Scooter.
And that's also why you have the shortstop on that side, not the other side, because that's the hot, like you said, the hot side or whatever, where most hits are hit down that alley.
Yes.
Oh, and humor, I still call Comiskey too out here. Ask anyone out here who's a Sox fan, they don't call it by that garbage name that's been there for the last 3 or 4 years. We call it Comiskey Park still.
Good.
Yeah. And I saw Darius mention about Comerica Park. That's where the Tigers play. No, my dad, and he used to love Old Tiger Stadium. Like, even though he's a Sox fan, he used to tell me like he would still go out to games because he knew people out that way, and he loved Old Tiger Stadium. And I saw photos because he went to the last Tiger Stadium game. It was like 98 or 99 when they played the last game there. And I'm like, and I saw the photos of it because he had the program from the last ever Tigers game there. And it looked like a very beautiful field. I'm just like, man, all those old fields are so kick ass.
I think they filmed the natural there. Did they film the natural?
The natural? Did they?
I think I could be
Stadium?
wrong, but I think they used it in a bunch of movies. Yeah, because of that iconic outfield with the old fashioned upper deck with the beams. All the before they built everything.
Mm-hmm.
Was suspended, but you get that like old Yankee Stadium was was great because the upper deck would come right down to the field. So opposing teams hate it. Like I hate the new Yankee Stadium. It's so generic and there's no charm to it. So the old stadium, and of course it's really the second stadium because they rebuilt it in the 70s. But the upper deck, if you look at the pictures that are in here, the upper deck was like you'd get upper deck seats and you'd be right on the field if you were very low to the if you were like in the first few rows of the upper deck. It was a great spot to be. But the new because they had to put in all the luxury boxes, so they couldn't block the view of the luxury boxes. So they don't.
Miller
have
has
cool
one
upper
of the
decks.
bit more of a lip than they did here at County. Like Miller has it coming over a bit more up front there. if I remember right.
I can show you if Nick's willing to share my screen.
Yeah.
The best baseball park in the world. This is the Frisco Rough Riders in North Dallas. And
That's not a park.
And they have a lazy river.
Oh my God.
I've been in this many times. It's $30, free food and drink, all you can eat food and drink, and lazy river.
I wonder how many balls end up in there.
Quite a few.
I wonder how
and
many people get
them
hit by them.
Some of them are baseballs too.
Is that blood on this?
Yeah, it looks like
it.
It sure looks like it.
This is AAA at its finest.
Alcohol don't stay like that.
Frisco Rough Riders.
Dude, how many drinks get dropped in that pot? That little pot?
Yeah.
What else ends up in there?
It's pretty toxic in there, I can assure you.
Yeah. Where was that at? Arizona, you said?
This is North Dallas, the Frisco Rough Riders. They're
Frisco.
Texas Rangers feeder team.
Oh, the minor league team.
It's a minor league team.
AAA. It's a lovely day out.
My office.
It's kind of funny because the third film is called Major League Back to the Minors, and it's about a minor league team. But yeah, I actually enjoy the third one. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not.
No, I have not seen it.
I've been to Frisco.
Do we miss our boy here? Do we miss Serrano? Mark, why don't you back up so we can relive that moment? While we do, I'll get the Thanos clip going because we got a super chat from
Biscuits.
Toxic Man Flu for $10 says, I call condom hats for dicks because of this film. One of my top 10. I think there was a Scottish film knockoff called Sticky Wickets that followed the Fort Augustus anus stuffers cricket team. 70s might have started.
Never heard of it.
I missed that movie.
I may well have encountered a few sticky wickets, but I don't recall that movie.
Oh my God. Thank you, Tox, for the 10
Scottish don't play cricket. That's bloody English game.
Yorkshiremen play cricket. Not
Yorkshire.
The Scots.
All right, here's our boy here.
The
Guys,
Scots play.
This is it. I say, fuck you, Joe Boo. I do it myself. Oh my God.
That was their line too. Like we should have gotten the real. We should have gotten a real chicken or something. Or
Yeah. Charlie Sheen says that when he first strike and he misses, he goes, "We should have gotten a real chicken."
Yeah.
Oh, what a moment in this movie.
It's a curveball there too. That's a curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks like a good, an athlete too. Is very believable in the role too. So
he's a big guy.
Here it goes.
Yeah, he is. He was and
power
is.
hitter.
Yeah.
But man, I didn't, and going into this panel, I knew we were going to talk about the movie, but I love how we're all talking about the movie, but all of us having some baseball knowledge to it. Stuff.
Well, they do a great job with this thing because, like, you have because knowing from, like I said, my dad used to coach. So, like, your first guy up, which is your Willie Mays Hayes guy, you want him to get on base. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
You get his ass on base, so your second and third guy have a chance to get on base, and then you bring Serrano, who's your power hitter. He's your fourth hitter. Mm-hmm. So then hopefully he can get your guys home. That's how you play that. And then the same thing, like with how he runs the pitchers and all that kind of shit. Like they do a great job of the technical aspects of this movie and picking the right actors for the look. Like, because I think you were right. I think it was Mark who said it earlier, where, the only actor who really didn't have any athletic history was surprisingly Wesley Snipes. Otherwise, the rest of them
man would have been able at least have the ability to run.
Swing when you watch him swing.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. He's wiry, so he looks like a leadoff guy.
He's got good footwork.
Yes.
They said he couldn't throw.
Oh God, that's why they didn't show. As we mentioned earlier, they didn't show. He
throws like a person who's uncoordinated, as we shall say today.
Yes, an uncoordinated person.
Yes, someone who didn't grow up throwing. Maybe grew up playing cricket, so I don't know.
Right.
No offense there, but that's a different motion. I played cricket over the summer one time, and it was a fun game to try to play and to throw. But you can't bend your elbow, I think, or wasn't so easy to do. But
if you're bowling, you cannot bend your elbow. I don't know about the fielders.
Randy, he was absolutely in that film. And I like White Man Can't Jump. Been a while since I've seen it, but I like it.
Cricket is a game that can last for 4 days and ends in a draw. I mean, it's
4 days and then a draw.
But can you drink while you're on the field, like when you're doing curling?
Yes,
Curling.
yes.
Yeah.
The whole point of cricket is, if you're going to watch it, is just to sit there and drink. There is no other point.
There's no other point.
Have you ever heard have you ever heard the expression 70s that cricket is a gentleman's game played by thugs and rugby is a thug's game played by gentlemen?
I have, yes, yes. That's why Yorkshiremen were such good cricketers.
Now, those of you who played baseball, you know what a fungo bat is, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to, but during a game, I actually used a fungo bat, and I got like 4 foul home run hits. I mean, they just disappeared over the fence. And I'm like going, I'm going to use this more often. But after the game, my dad chewed me out. He's like, "Did you use that? I saw you get. You can't use that in a game." I'm like, "But it's the best bat I've ever swung."
I bet.
That sucker came around fast.
Solano, yes. And then of course, and then we get to God. I was gonna say this. No, this can't be the end because we still have to have Taylor give us the game winner. Taylor gives us the winning hit of it all after Wild Thing does his thing.
Right.
And they got the glasses in the if someone's holding to a poster with the glasses like right there. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
They win
And
the
I like-
division. Oh, go ahead.
I like the manager saying, when the assistant says to him, "You're bringing him in against that guy who's hit home runs off of him all year." He says, "Yeah, but I think he's got it. He's got it. Something coming.
I think he's due or something like that.
I think he's due. Yes, I think you're right." And yeah, so he comes in and he shakes off like 3 different pitches. Finally, you will almost with a visible shrug, the catcher puts one finger down. Okay, throw a fastball. And he throws a 97-mile-an-hour fastball right past the guy. And does it 2 more times. And that is, and then of course the catcher's trying to psych out the batter, so he's doing his little patter. Oh, so many pitches to choose from. I wonder what I'll pick now.
I wonder if catchers do that during a game. Or probably
They do. Oh, yes, they do.
They do.
Oh God, yes, they do.
And the major. I mean, once in a while,
That's why you'll have a
it's
pitcher
nice,
like shake off a pitch. He'll be like, no. Then he'll be like, yep.
Yep. Oh
So
yeah,
it's usually like a back and forth between the two. But yeah,
there's a back and forth, and catchers do mess with batters.
Oh yeah,
all the
definitely
time.
mess with batters. So negotiating with the pitcher on what to pitch this guy, because the catcher's responsibility, because he's there behind the plate every single day, is to know every opposing team batter and what they're good at hitting and what they're bad at hitting.
Yep.
So he's telling the pitcher, okay, start with this over here, because he can't hit that. And the pitcher may go, nah. He'll go, all right, my second choice, this pitch in here. The pitcher will nod. Okay, great, throw that. But yeah, that whole back and forth with Charlie Sheen's character, Wild Thing, because Wild Thing just wants to prove, I can throw a fastball faster than he can hit. And Behringer's like, okay, I can't argue with my pitcher anymore because he's not budging. So now I got to mess with the batter, which is absolutely a character. That is so true.
And the groundskeepers there, you make everything groovy. They're like,
Oh, hey. Humor Waffles called this. You can tell this
Yep,
is in
that's
Milwaukee
what I was just
because
saying,
yeah.
I said that earlier. Yep,
on the
human
Right
waffles
here,
must
yeah.
have missed it. Yep.
Nah, I must have.
Yep.
Oh, you make my heart sing. Oh my god. And then now it's
everything
come full
groovy.
circle. The groundskeepers are all like, yes, you make everything groovy. After they kept saying that they were shit. They were shit.
Yep.
Now,
Well, what's
now
funny
they're
is they win the
invested.
division here, but I think in the sequel they say they blow it in the playoffs.
Oh, they lose in the playoffs. They said,
Yeah, I think they said that. Yeah, and then in the second film was the first year they did the wild card, so they actually in all the new rules they actually are into play in the movie, if I remember right. So, yeah, because the
Oh,
second
girls,
film
that's
I think
such
is
an 80s
overlooked quite
outfit.
a bit, but I actually like the second and third one
I,
quite a
s-
bit.
I still never saw it to this day, but I do know.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like I wasn't like seeing it now out of spite. It's just I just never got around to it.
Second one's really good too. Yeah,
I hear that actually. I do hear that from people that it's good.
they
this is
recast
when
Wesley Snipes with Omar Epps, and you hardly notice.
AL. This was when it was just the AL East and West and NL East and West. Now it's the AL Central East and West. And was this right before pinch designated hitter? I was gonna say pitching.
Yes,
Designated hitters right before it because obviously the White Sox were
That's
known for
another
having
thing too.
Big
Yeah.
Frank Thomas as
Well,
our
they're making
DH.
they're making that permanent now for both leagues. It sounds like with the latest. That's one of the things. They're going to get rid of the DH in the National League.
Yeah, in the American League at this time, the pitchers didn't hit.
Yeah,
that was up until recently, I believe. And then
the DH came in what 74 or.
I mean, the
75?
National League, they always gave him the choice.
Yes,
but in the American League, you never got a choice. The pitcher never hit. Period.
Yeah. Well, it makes the National League. There's less offense, but there's a lot more chess, quote unquote, in the game in terms.
Yeah,
of
because then you have to sit there and go, okay, am I going to keep my pitcher in if he's hot, or am I going to pinch hit him? Because once you take him out, he's out.
Yeah, he's done.
He's not allowed to pitch. But the thing is, pitchers spend so much more. Pitchers almost never do batting practice.
No.
They can't afford to. They do pitching practice. They are pitching for batting practice. So I have to say, I think the National League had the right idea.
The only kind of batting practice they usually do is bunting.
Yes. Yeah.
And not only that, it's a big taboo, like to hit or throw a ball at at one of the pitchers too, like on the other team.
Yeah.
Like you'll get your ass kicked.
Oh,
if you hit one of their pitchers.
Yes.
That's where like they'll storm the fucking field and
that's
shit.
where that's where they'll rush the mound. But yeah, I've never understood in the majors the amount of time pitchers spend throwing baseballs, not hitting them. Why they expect pitchers to be able to hit a curveball, because none of them can.
Yeah, that's why it's so
pretty
rare.
much that it's almost
Except for
unheard
the guy in the
of.
National League now is the pitcher and the hitter is like
right
comparing
one
to
guy.
Babe Ruth. Yeah, one
in
guy.
my
in
decades that I can remember watching baseball.
Hold up, Doran right here. He's like, oh fuck.
Yes,
he's worried that shit's gonna go down. At the last minute. And he's like, I love
strike
this
motherfucker out.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I said, oh shit. He says, oh shit. Mrs. Redshirt said, oh shit.
Like after the game, he punches him and then he hugs him.
Yes.
That's the guy. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, who's the guy that won the? I'm forgetting the pitcher now. The hitter.
Hey, those are the words. Strike this motherfucker out.
That's what I said.
Yes.
I know.
I love Dorn. He's great. He's like I said, he's one of the few carryovers in the third one. The third movie is about he actually buys the Minnesota Twins. Mm-hmm. So he owns the minor league that goes with it.
Oh, and, does he?
Yeah, so he
because he does so well with all his investments and everything.
Yeah. So like he brings in a couple of guys or whatever, and actually the coach he brings in is what's his face from Quantum Leap and Star Trek.
Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula, who's great in it. Yeah. And then they got Takashi, who comes back from part 2. Serrano's in it.
So Bakula was in 2 sports movies then, because he was also in Necessary Roughness.
Yes, he was.
Which is another favorite film of mine.
Yep.
Guys, I don't know, Tom, Redshirt, Mark, one of you guys remember this from Mr. RC here? I wouldn't know. This is before my time, so
vaguely, but I mean, it was the time of the power hitters in the 90s because they were all juicing up.
Yeah, and it turned out the pitchers were juicing too to compete.
Yeah,
with
it was all kind of like whatever at that point.
Well, that was that was the 2 sluggers. It was Sammy Sosa and then the guy from Mark McGuire.
Mark McGuire, yeah.
And then there was the Bash brothers with Jose. What was Jose's last name? But he was juicing too. Yeah, but it was like that was a year that everyone was. It was after the strike, I think, in '94. Yeah, and everyone was just loving all the home runs, and then Sammy Sosa.
It was what got the butts back in the seat because people did not forgive him after that.
The strike, the '94 strike. Everyone in Chicago South Side, even just in the area, Chicago in general, were saying that the Sox were supposed to be the team to win it all that year because they did okay in '93 when they made the ALCS, but then they got their asses kicked by the Blue Jays, and then they thought, '94 is going to be a year. Apparently, they had like the team, and then of course the strike happened.
Yeah, well, there was no '95 World Series, so then that year the Yankees were picked in the AL too, and that would have been Mattingly finally made the playoffs, but they lost to.
It was that year. I think
Toronto.
the Brewers switched over to the National League too. Was that or '96? I can't remember which.
Did they
Yeah,
change
so-
the?
Yeah.
Did they
you're
change
right,
the?
Tom.
Did
Go
they
ahead,
change the
Rick.
construction of the ball in the 90s? Because
Well, they've always
that
been-
has changed batting over the years many times.
There's a lot of speculation, but I think the balls are made in the Dominican Republic, and then a few years ago, a new company took over, and then the argument was that MLB was juicing the balls. So there were more home
Mhm.
runs because people want to see offense. But if you like baseball, baseball's a game of like chess, where if you know the game and you really get into it, and you slow it down and you pay attention, there's a ton of strategy going on. But if you just want to see, the home run, I mean, yeah, that's fun, but it's not what baseball's about. So they're trying to make baseball something it's not. And of course, you guys know I'm a huge Star Trek fan. So, in Deep Space Nine, the captain, he predicts that, well, he doesn't predict, but he's a huge baseball fan, Cisco, and he's got and like the last baseball game was played in 20, star date, 2200, whatever the date is, so baseball goes bust eventually,
Yes.
which Star Trek predicts. And I can see with like the young kids, like they love to watch soccer, aka football or baseball's too slow. So all these
Yes.
things they're trying to do to speed up the
Baseball's
game.
been very, very good to me.
Well, that's kind of goes with it. I mean, baseball has been faster and slower over the decades. They've instituted so many things now that have slowed the game down. But what blew my mind when I was reading about home run hitters like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, they had soft balls. The ball in the game at the time was not a springy.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I had to rephrase that.
Balls.
Well, not only that,
I corrected
wasn't there
myself.
variations in the balls?
Who's got big
Yeah,
balls?
By hand
But-
and
but-
on
Really
machine.
soft. They are
But
soft.
they weren't.
Richard, what did they feel like in your hands?
I wasn't alive then,
There was
and
a
my
dead
father
ball.
wasn't either. But
dead
no,
ball
but
era.
the point is that they were hitters at a time when it was a pitcher's game, and there have been eras where they wound the
Nuts,
core
how
more
fitting.
tightly.
This is nuts.
Yes!
When you're talking
Yeah,
about
nuts.
balls. It says nuts on this.
Oh, my timing is impeccable.
Oh man. Woo.
I'll just stop.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not
there
going
was something
anywhere.
called the dead,
No.
This
the
guy
dead
threw
ball
his
era.
own kid out at a family
Yeah.
son game.
Stop while you're ahead.
Ah.
Well, that's why the book I love. It's called the year Babe Ruth hit 104 home runs. So they took all the stadiums that were the current size of the stadium, and the guy went and did all the research and said, well, back say in Fenway, the field was really 440 feet, and the newspapers back then would say Babe Ruth hit a ball to the wall or whatever. So the guy calculated where all Babe Ruth's hits went. And he said he would have hit 104 home runs that year if all the home runs had counted. Plus, he lost like 3 or 4 because back then the home run had to land fair. So if the ball went on the inside of the foul pole but landed foul past it, it was not a home run. So if it curved around it,
That's fucked up.
so I'll put it in the chat. But it's one of the it's one of my all-time favorite books to read. If you're a baseball person, it shows all the old ballparks. So you know how Ted Williams has a seat, in Fenway Park and right field, it's a red seat. So Babe Ruth hit a home run that's about 50 feet further than that. Of course, they're not going to honor that in Fenway, but Babe Ruth hit the longest ball in Fenway history, and that was
that when he was playing for Boston, though?
When he was playing for Boston.
That's when he was playing for Boston.
Or might have been 1920.
You know what screwed Ted Williams out of getting the record? The
World War
Korean
II.
War. No, it's the
And
Korean War.
yeah, you did fight in Korea too. Yeah.
It was in the middle of his career, and it screwed him out of his record.
Yep, agreed.
So yeah, all those guys, for World War II, and he went and volunteered to go back to Korea. And he was such an athlete and such a brave person too. But he was an incredible fighter pilot with his hand-eye coordination. So,
and he did not volunteer. He was.
Well, I thought he did.
Scripted
Korea. I
back
thought
in.
he volunteered for Korea.
No,
right?
as I recall, he was
drafted?
conscripted back in because he was an experienced fighter pilot,
Okay.
and they needed fighter pilots. That's as I recall. You can check and
Oh, yeah, I could.
let me
Yeah,
know if
I
I'm
could
wrong,
be.
but I
doesn't-
recall because I read the book the Ted Williams book back when I was in high school. And as I recall, that was what happened.
It sounds better if he volunteers. Just kidding. I have no idea. But yeah, either way, those guys, just think of it. Just think of it today. Like if one of the top athletes got actually drafted to fight in a war and actually went and fought in as a fighter pilot in that war. I mean, just Michael Jordan. Could you imagine Michael Jordan going to fight? And not picking a Michael. I'm just saying famous athlete like that.
Yeah, and RC, you're totally right. That's exactly right.
Laying down that knowledge, he is.
Oh yeah, one of the all-time great players. Fan. Oh, he's an amazing player.
Come on,
come on, dude.
Come on. Of course, he wouldn't sign an autograph for my wife's grandfather, so he hated Ted Williams. He was like, as a kid, he went to ask for his autograph. He told him, "Get out of here, kid," or something. He was nasty.
Oh my god!
For a year, I hated Ted Williams. So yeah.
Here's the throw. And there's our boy Willie Mays Hayes. God, what a name, Willie Mays Hayes.
And Hayes is named after, I think, an Olympic sprinter, or they wanted to play in the NFL. So he was considered one of the fastest guys in the NFL. I think he played for the Cowboys, if I'm remembering what I read before correctly. So Willie Mays is fun. It's like one of the greatest MLB players, and Hayes is supposed to be the fast sprinter.
Handy Randy, yeah, he volunteered. Pat Tillman.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Oh lordy! And here's our boy. Here he is. This is where everything changes. Serrano. Oh God.
She's not happy. Yep.
No. Oh, dude, Rachel is pissed.
I love this. Yeah, the idea here I love the signs in baseball.
There's
right?
So many signs. Yeah.
Oh wow, Tom laid it out in the chat. Perry, the sequel opened a week after D2, which I did see in theaters when I was a kid. And hold on, that was his. Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Charlie Sheen's brother, Emilio Estevez. Man, that guy dropped off the face of the earth. Estevez. All right, he was everywhere.
He was in the Mighty Ducks reboot until they're like, you got to get poked, and he's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And
he was nowhere. You got to get what?
The
shot.
The injection.
The jab.
Oh
yes.
He's like, good luck with your little duck show without me.
The juices. We'll just say that he got juiced. So
juiced.
Don't think it's steroids. Since we're talking about baseball, don't think we're talking juices.
And I don't know if this was brought up earlier or not either, but the Indians did actually end their drought in 1995, a year after the sequel. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's true because they were in the '96 World Series, which they lost, of course. I think that was against, the Marlins, or am I thinking '97?
Yeah, wasn't Jim Tomei one of their better players about that time, if I'm remembering?
Before he joined the White Sox a few years later. Yeah, he was known for being quite a big hitter with the Indians. Yeah, Tomei was a home run type of guy. He would smack a homer. That's what he was known for. He wasn't really an out the field type of player being known for that, but he was the home run guy. Oh my God. It was 96 or 97. Someone in the chat can correct me. It was one of those years. And I'm pretty sure I think it was against the Marlins because the Marlins were new and hot and they were winning stuff pretty much right off the bat then. I mean, oh shit.
It's a bunt. It's not hitting it. It's a bunt. Yeah, I love the way they win.
I remember when I watched this the first time, the surprise I had that he bunted it. Oh my God, because you think he's going to go.
You know what this bunt reminds me of? This episode of Married with Children where Al Bundy plays for the Cubs and he hits a bunt home run. And the concept is with a bunt home run, like a really stank up, shot down Wrigley Field. He has like a super long number. And the fact that it was a bunt home run, I'm like, man, I want to make a bunt home run. It's just the funniest, most absurd thing because, of course, that would happen on Married with Children. Take care, Tabletop Junkie. Good night, man. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, this is basically a suicide squeeze play, except the runner isn't starting from third. He's starting from second.
Yeah.
Bit of a stretch.
Awesome. This has probably happened before, I'm assuming. So, right, I've seen some crazy things in baseball, but it won't
Yeah, this
surprise
is
me.
a very ambitious play, especially you see how close it is when Willie Mays he gets
Mhm.
that slide. Is the fact that just his arm didn't slide far enough, which that is really
He's
creative
safe.
to think of it like that. Like that,
That's
whoever
an
thought of
awesome
that as
slide.
far as
That is that is a slide. That's a real one.
Yeah.
There are players that have perfected that, and it makes the player almost impossible to tag until his foot hits the bag.
Yep, that's awesome. Well, now you can't block the plate now. They changed the rules, so
Right.
because too many catchers are getting hurt and players are getting hurt, so now you can't do that anymore. I think you have to have the ball or give the runner, which kind of makes sense. Like you can't block first base, but it was always tradition in baseball. You guarded home plate.
Right.
You set up a wall there, and Pete
Oh, yeah.
Rose famously took out in the All-Star game.
Oh my God!
catcher,
No,
yep.
you know what? I'm not even gonna finish the line. This is a Tom line. If he's still alive.
Indians win it.
There you go. And Snail Messiah says, I really do not, and he emphasizes really do not talk about sports ball, but this is basically, hey, awesome. If we're entertaining you, then that's a badge of honor.
Thank you, Snail Messiah. No, we're not eating escargot tonight on the panel. I promise you.
No, seriously, this movie, obviously, this movie stands the test of time for me. And God, I've seen it. I think I don't recall the first time I saw it, but if I had to guess, I think maybe I'm going to say middle school years. I'm going to guess middle school because, at this point, I had already seen a lot of the usuals like 8 Men Out, Field of Dreams, The Sandlot, The Natural. But I'd seen a lot of those films, but Major League, I was a little slightly late bloomer to that, but I was just so blown away by Ricky Vaughn, and I was just like, this is freaking great. And I was just, and of course, obviously, you see all the other wild personalities, and it made me think, I wonder if the guys are actually like this in baseball, where they all had their weird, rituals for the game, kind of like how Serrano is. And surely enough, we found out these players are based off of, loosely based off these guys.
Oh, yeah. The only people in the world who are more superstitious than baseball players are sailors.
Oh, God. For real?
Yeah. Yeah. They're the only people who
that,
give baseball players a run for their money on superstitions.
I could see that. Yeah.
They are a superstitious lot.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yep. That's a great ending here, though. Yeah.
Oh, I know, right? Oh God, especially when Doran gets his last shot. Doran gets his last shot, and he's all excited.
See, bros before hoes. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Well, until he goes to the stands, right? Yeah. He goes to the stands last.
Well, yeah, but with the punch,
the punch,
but then he gets up and hugs him. Bros before hoes.
He pulls him. He helps him up and hugs him.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's.
Because it's more important than that other shit.
That's right.
Yeah. He's gonna divorce her anyway, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. At this point, yes.
Boom.
There it is. Boom.
I love you, man.
That's it. It's over.
Yeah, that's it. I had my say.
We're good.
When did LA Law start? Was that soon after this, or because he was,
and he was so good in that Arnie Baker.
He may have already been on it already.
It might have already been.
It might have been already on.
Yeah, because like I said, Corbin Burnson and Tom Berenger.
I think it was.
Were two of the veteran actors in the cast.
Because when we watched this in the UK, we knew Corbin Burnson was quite a big star because of LA Law.
Yeah,
he was actually seen as a bigger star than the others almost.
Yeah. Because Charlie Sheen, like I said, this was only his second real starring role because before this he had done Platoon and that was about it. I mean, he'd been in other movies like Ferris Bueller and shit, but he's only bit parts and shit. So
Oh, LA Law was 86 to 94.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was pretty famous at this point.
And that was a famous show worldwide. I mean, it was a popular show everywhere.
Yeah. Well, this picture I got here is one of the more famous pictures from the movie, so it's the three.
Yes.
And Berenger was quite well known as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I remember. He was very distinctly fit. Like I said, growing up, I used to think he had kind of looked like Dan Marino at times, in certain angles. I'm like, huh? Maybe just the jaw structure. I don't know, same hair color, but yeah. I remember just being, oh, hey. I used to always say he was that guy that wasn't Charlie Sheen. That was my thing when I was in middle school. He's the guy who's not Charlie Sheen.
And if you watch the
Apparently,
Flash,
sorry, go ahead, Mark.
no, I was just say if you watch the Flash TV series, Corbin Burnson's wife Amanda Pays was played the side girl, the scientist. So she was Tina McGee, and then they had her back on I guess on Supergirl, which no one's really watching, but she was playing a character in that. But that was just just a comic book aside there for you comic book lovers.
Yes.
But
Apparently, they're rebooting LA Law.
Oh no!
Yes. Oh yes.
I can only imagine what the cases will be.
Corbin Bernsen's in it.
Are they going to have to deal with a lot of microaggressions and save the world
and the rest
from
of
that?
the cast looks diverse, shall we say?
Oh, what you don't say.
I do say.
I guess, Mark, where do you rank this in toxicity and in greatness?
Toxicity, I guess, well, you got a toxic owner, right? So the woman is extremely
she's very
toxic,
toxic.
right? She's toxic. The guys are all toxic, right? Corbin, what's the third baseman's wife is toxic, right? Because she just goes and sleeps with Charlie Sheen's character. And, everyone is toxic on this. So I guess I give it like, although Mad would probably say that it's, the reverse probably, but I'm going to give it like 8 on the toxic scale. And on greatness, I'm going to give it like there's 2 different ratings, I guess. Like if it's a sports movie, like there's
you know what? Yeah, go for it. Go
like
for
for
a sports
sports,
score.
I would say it's like even high. It's like one of the greatest, sports movies up there. So like if you're rating it, comparing it to other movies like that, I guess I give it like a 9.8, and like a as a like maybe like a 9, regular, but in terms of how you compare the two, but it's just up there in the pantheon of like incredible sports movies. It's just so good. Wild Thing is just so good in this. So just if anyone out there is enjoying this panel tonight, go make sure to watch this movie if you hadn't seen it. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh crap! My mic was off.
Oh, you were muted.
Yeah, I muted myself. So
What a relief!
That's what I get.
What a relief!
It looks like I was gonna say for the chat to unleash the scores, but looks like they already got started. At least a few of them did. So yeah, for the rest in the chat, go off and sign up on your scores. It's like a lot of you know the ritual by now, and while that's going on, Gerry, why don't you tell us your score? Where you rate this in toxicity, greatness, and a sports movie?
Well, it's my gosh, like Tom, this is right up there with Rocky. One of my favorite sports films of all time, and I would put it at probably number 2 after Rocky. As far as toxicity goes, it's definitely got 2 thumbs up for toxicity. I fucking love how men are men and women are women in it, and you don't have to play politics, social politics with it.
Say
it's a solid film. I don't know how we score it. How do we score?
Well, toxicity, like as you heard, Mark, we
1 to 10.
We judge, 1 to 10 on all.
Oh, 1 to 10.
Fluid.
It's
it's gender fluid.
It's gender fluid. Because I look at toxic masculinity as a good thing. So I'd give it a 10. I give it a 10.
All right. And then, look, see, like, you see a lot of people here in the chat, they know the score is like D-Bud here, toxicity 9.5, greatness 9.7, deleted scenes movie 8.5, toxicity 8, RC toxicity 9.5, overall 9.5. Woo, swinging for the stars. Rob Altus 10 for toxic, 10 for greatness. Marby Dog 10. Look at that. I love it. Yeah. Love those scores, guys. And then Andy Randy, 9 out of 10, Jobo Blessings, 100% toxicity, and 31 out of 32 flavors of Nicholas Outguy. So we're 1 flavor short, apparently. And toxicity, 9, greatness, 9 from the Indy Phantom. Thank you, Indy. And Tom, go ahead and sound up on your scores.
Oh, I mean, I give the movie a 10 out of 10. It's one of those rarities for me. Damn near perfect movie, or whatever you want to call it, perfect movie. Toxicity level, I'd have to go with that 7 or 8 probably. And it gets like 24 handy randies because everybody's using their hands in the movie to handle balls. So
handle balls.
All right, killer. Anything else you want to add? Any final thoughts about this bad boy? Oh, all right.
Oh, just check out the sequels if you hadn't. I highly recommend them.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, and Keely Chow here. Toxicity 9, greatness 10. Mr. Dragon, 9 out of 10. Great reviews, Nick. Hey, you know what? I honestly, it's this panel here that helps it. It really is. It's all contributing effort. So that's all it is at the end of the day. And now the red shirt. Sound off on your scores and any final thoughts you want to add to it.
All right, I'm with Tom on this one. I can't imagine a way that they could have made this movie better as a comedy, a sports movie, a moving tribute. The underdogs win. Come on, this is you root for these people the whole way through the movie. They don't interrupt you. They don't take you out of the story. 10 out of 10 for greatness. This is amazing. Rocky's also fantastic movie. Totally different sport. Totally different feel to it. So I don't have a problem with rating them both at the same score. And it's just a matter of preference whether you like baseball
Right.
and comedy or you like boxing and drama. Okay, that's it. Toxicity, nobody even mentioned Tom Berenger taking Rene Russo's skirt off with his cleats.
Oh yeah.
I was going to mention the love scenes were pretty toxic, but yeah.
Yeah. So that got it an extra half a point for me. So I gave it a 9.5 on Toxicity.
He's a stalker,
right?
right?
Yeah.
He is. He's following her home.
You know, the thing is, though,
cart.
yeah, there's
Yes.
that. But Mad would, of course, make the point that she leaves before him, so that would be a bitch move. Like,
That's by Mad Mardigan logic.
like
Well,
you got to get the
trouble-
fuck up out of that bed before
The
she
trouble
wakes
is,
up.
Mad is used to women leaving before they've even had sex. So you know,
Well, he doesn't know what it's like.
He's used to women leaving before the conversation is finished.
well,
No, he's not
They
here to
had
defend
him at
himself,
hello,
but
yes.
he's not going to miss next week now after he hears this. Yep.
Oh, guaranteed.
His approach doesn't work because the first thing he does is come up and goes, "Want me to tell you how I found a penis?" And they think they mean that he used to be a woman. Think about it for a minute.
no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no! Oh,
I know
no.
exactly.
I'm
The
not even
penis in the
following.
grass story.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I don't even want to know. I'll have to ask for further context later. It already sounds.
You don't know about the mad penis story,
Mad
no?
conversing with
No, I
women.
don't. But
Oh,
already
that's
mad conversing with ...
that'll have to wait
women.
for another day.
Yeah, I will. I am curious. 70.
Spoils of war. Let's call it the spoils of war. But, you know.
Hi.
Well, I'd definitely give this movie 2 balls out of 3 strikes. I think. I would. I think it's more toxic than at first you would think. When you actually look at the content, I think it's a 9 out of 10 toxicity. And it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I must have seen this movie, I don't know, 30 or 40 times over the years. I've always loved it. The pacing is right. The story arc is brilliant. It's got the right mix of comedy and sports. So I'm going to give it 10 out of 10.
Woo! You
I
heard
love
that
this movie.
70s rock fan. All right,
Love
well,
it.
for me, I'm going to go with a 9.3 for the greatness. As far as sports movie, I'm going to go with a 9.6. As far as toxicity, I'm going to go with probably going to go with the 8.8. I'm going to go with the 8.8 on it. I mean, there's a lot of obviously we got the main Rachel Phelps she is a toxic fucking bitch in this movie. And you love to hate her, and you gotta give credit to the actress for doing that. That's what she made you do. She made you hate her because she was taking away things from them as they were winning. And dude, that's like that was a shitty move, but it worked for her character arc in defense for her as the actress. So of course, as Red Shirt mentioned with Rene Russo, that scene. So and we got all these players with all these crazy, wild, toxic personalities. It's just like, wow, being toxic man is amazing. So those are my scores. And yeah, this is the Major League episode, guys. So I guess before we start plugging in the channels, we'll let everyone know next week's flick here has been decided. We'll be talking the Bill Murray classic titled Stripes. So we'll come back next week for more comedy greatness. So
it's pancake time.
Ivan Reitman directed. No less.
Yeah. Oh, we'll acknowledge it as an Ivan Reitman tribute. This will be
You
our.
can't leave. The plan will die.
Oh God, yeah.
Where have you guys been? Training, sir. What kind of training? Army training.
Yeah. That's the fact, Jack.
You're really good at that. I'm telling you. You're really good at that, Tom. Oh, look at that. Major League 2's on Tubi. Huh? Yeah,
like
so.
That? You like that? Who's your buddy? Who's your pal?
And I learned to play cards in Stripes.
Oh.
Right, yeah. Remember the classic scene with, I think you should go all in here right now. With your cards, I think, it looks like, if I were you, I would go all in.
My favorite line from that movie still to this day is, lighten up, Francis.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep it for next week, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, we'll be quoting it all over again next week. So.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, Stripes is the flick next week. We'll continue the comedy trend going a little bit because that's another great toxic comedy. And we'll start plugging in Duff channels. So, Mr. Mark D with a C, what do you got coming up, sir? And thank you, as always, for keeping the visuals going, keeping it for all the toxicity for the panel and the chat to see.
Thank you. Yep, so I've had a bunch of videos. Do you have any toys around here? I've got some... ornaments I got to review because I always pick up the ornaments for when they're on sale. But I got the Justice League.
Dude.
I don't know if I can play it because I might get copyright strike. Plays the cartoon theme and
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice,
Doctor Who. Yep. So I do toy reviews, 3D printing. You can see some figures around. All the junk is. The wife affectionately says in the room, but appreciate being on here and checking my channel for those reviews and toys. And I'm on Thursday night with Clobbering Times and Raquel Briggs on Clobby's Clubhouse, and I'm on this channel a lot reviewing comics. And of course, love being here. It's not Tuesday if you're not talking a toxic movie with Nick and the gang. So thank you for having me, and we'll catch you guys next week for Stripes.
Gotta ask, does it play the Ted Knight theme or just the music?
It plays Ted Knight. Ted Knight actually talks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the video, upload it. Yeah, it does exactly that. So I'm gonna upload it and make it private. I guess to see it.
That's the one I love.
If I don't get as long as if it gets claimed, I don't care. You always worry about the strikes. With
all right.
YouTube,
Thank you, Darius. I was going to let the chat know, but also like between here and also on the caption, I put everyone who's on the panel. All their links are in the caption, but Mr. Darius here. Thank you. Appreciate that. Posting.
Thank you, Darius.
Hey, guys, in the chat, Mark D with a C here is like 5 subs away or so from 200. If you are not subbed to him, let's see if we can make that happen tonight.
Thank you.
I have 7 channels, and all of them are subbed to Mark.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you, Gary.
That's good. There you go. See? Leading by example. There you go, guys. And
Appreciate
now, the man who is everywhere, and he gets around, and he has such a very soothing baseball voice. Tom, say whatever it is you want. Oh, he does, but we love him for it.
We'd like to thank you, and our sponsors tonight have been Nick Weiser, the Nicks of beers. When you need 32 flavors of greatness, you go to Nick Weiser.
Wow, dude!
You gotta clip that.
Now
use that.
You
gotta use that. That's awesome.
That was really good.
It's what I call a plug.
Aiming for the corner, just missed it.
It's not what my wife calls a plug.
All right, Tom. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate
Too much information.
I'm looking forward to next week talking a Ivan Reitman / Bill Murray classic. It's gonna be another one for the ages. Appreciate your time as always.
32 flavors of Nick Weiser. It fizzles on your tongue.
Oh my God. Tom's got Midnight's Edge After Dark and Mead Radio as well. And of course, he's got Midnight's Edge in the morning as well. So there's all those channels. So thank you, Tom. And now for.
If you want an alternate, here's another one.
Oh, yes.
Nick Weiser. It tastes spunky.
You think you're on comics division?
Oh, that was great, Tom.
I'm the home of Nick Weiser.
Well, thank you, Nick Weiser, for inviting me. This has been a lot of fun. I don't have any content on my channel yet. I don't know when I will, but you can find me on the Cosmic Fusion channel on Monday nights talking about cars, auto racing, and whatever we come up with around 9 Central. And then at 8:30 or 9 Central on Fridays after Friday Night Tights, you can find me almost every week, well, so far every week, pretty much, on the MFR Cocktail Lounge on Foulball Productions. But I'm in chats all over the place, so say hi when you see me, and I'll say hi back.
Action com. We need 3 frogs. Nick Wise. I remember that one. Well, hey, Richard.
Yeah, especially the chameleons. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good, Tom. No, that was worth the mention. Richard, I appreciate you coming on, rejoining us, man. As you know how it goes, dude. If there's ever room and you want to come on and it's just singing out to you, you just sing out to me and I will listen to you sing. And then before you know it, you're on Toxic Tuesday. So
I appreciate
your
always
time
do.
as always. All right.
Yep. Thank you.
70s talk.
Hey, I think my voice has almost made it through the show. So, and thanks for having me on, Nick. It's been great to be back. I have a backlog of videos to make, which I can't make until this gets better. But I do have my weekly show every Monday, 2 p.m. Pacific on my channel, that's 70s Rock Fan. Yesterday's was a music special and we had a lot of fun. Nick, you were there for a while. It was even better because Tom didn't turn up.
Ouch.
So that made the show. I'm just kidding, buddy, honestly. It would be even better if you'd been there. I'm also on Foulball Productions Fridays along with Richard. And I do have a series of special projects underway to make shows out of, which there will be more revealed soon. So stuff is happening and we've got some interesting shows to come. So.
All right.
No, I'd love to show up more often because I love talking music just as much as movies. But you pick the one day that is like almost as bad as any other day of the week for me.
Well, you and me will just do a special one ourselves, mate.
Oh,
and by the way, please subscribe to my radio channel, inspired by Tom.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Mead Radio inspired me. That 70s Rock Fan Radio. Please check that out. I don't go up against Tom though because he's.
Now, are you doing that on a completely separate channel now?
Yes.
You're gonna have to give me the link to that because I got your other one, but I don't know if I got the because I was wondering if you're still doing it.
I'll give it to you, mate. Yeah, but
throw it in that private chat there.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, Tom and that 70s Rock Fan After Dark. Ooh,
awesome,
spicy. I love hearing that. All right, 70s. Well, I'm glad to have you back on board on the wagon of toxicity, and I look forward to many more episodes of greatness. Thank you as always, Mr. Gerry. It was great to have you as a guest, and it was definitely fun talking a baseball toxic classic. Why don't you plug in what you got coming up this week?
Well, I can actually show you real quick here.
Yeah,
I'll share screen.
Show us your naughty bits.
A huge show for Friday. There you go. We've got Sarah Frazetta, Frank Frazetta's granddaughter. I worked with her on a comic, and we've been friends for a while. And she's looking forward to coming on Friday, and we're very excited to have her because I want her to tell her story because she's the first Frazetta after Frank to follow in his footsteps.
Wow. What time is that on, Gerry?
That's going to be at 2:00 Central Time on Friday.
Can't miss that. Well, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and totally looking forward to that. There we go. I'll turn that off. Past that, you can always tune in on Thursdays at 6:00 Central Time. We've got the Scoop Zone where we go over Mikey Sutton's most recent scoops and go over at least one confirmed scoop of his and what impact it's had. And then on Saturday mornings, I do Saturday morning fun time with Keith, and some of our friends will join us, and we just talk about pop culture. This last weekend, we did an entire episode on Daniel Craig and if he really was James Bond at any point. So it was a fun episode. Past that, if you're doing Stripes, man, I want to be there for that if there's any openings, because that movie was huge to me. And on top of that, I lived it.
Oh, and he lived it. All right. Well, let me look at where I'm at, and then if the room allows it, dude, you will be absolutely on. All right. I'd love to have you back here. Thank you.
You bet, man. Thank you.
And as always, thankful for everyone coming back to Toxic Tuesdays per usual. A lot of great shows out there in the YouTube of the world, and you chose us. And the fact that a lot of you stuck around with us must have been a testament to hopefully being a fun show to hang out. And thank you to the ones who sent the tip jar super chat monies. I appreciate you all. And I saw even a few new faces there in the chat too. Either you're new or your first time commenting. Regardless, welcome to Toxic Tuesday. Hope you like what you see. Anyways, I have this channel here. This is where I run things. I've got a Macho Man style rant talking about this Warner Bros. Matrix shit show that'll be coming out. That'll have YetiCast edit once I get that up. So, and yes, Rob Baltis, we love this show and we love you, man. So Stripes will be awesome next week, and we have Friday Night Comic Shop Talk this Friday night as well. And of course, I yell at Park Cars with Comics Division, and now seem to be appearing on the Me Tuesday edition as well with Tom and Mexican Iron Man. See you all next week for Stripes. All right. Goodbye, good night, and good fight.